Warning, what you're about to see isn't just another sports car. It's a resurrection. After years of silence, the Dodge Viper is back, and it's angrier, faster, and more advanced than ever before. The 2026 Dodge Viper doesn't just aim to compete, it aims to dominate. With a completely re-engineered chassis, track-ready aerodynamics, and a rumored V10 hybrid powertrain, Dodge just took the American supercar playbook and ripped it in half. Could this be the comeback that rewrites performance history? Or has Dodge taken things too far in chasing the future? Buckle up. Because what's coming next will make your jaw drop. The Viper has always been more than a car. It's been an icon of pure, untamed power. Born in the early 90s, it was America's answer to the European exotics, a brute force machine that didn't care about comfort or compromise. It had one mission: deliver raw, unapologetic speed. But in 2017, Dodge pulled the plug. Emissions regulations, safety standards, and market shifts seemed to mark the end of the Viper era. Enthusiasts mourned. The legend was gone. Until now, the 2026 Dodge Viper has returned, and this time, it's not just a rebirth, it's a revolution. Built under Stellantis' new high-performance division, this next-generation Viper has been completely reimagined for a new age of performance cars. It rides on an ultra-light carbon fiber monocoque, borrows aerodynamic secrets from the Dodge SRT race program, and fuses old-school aggression with next-gen precision. But Dodge didn't just build a new car, they built a new statement. This Viper is here to prove that American muscle can evolve and still scare the supercar elite. Every element, from its elongated hood to its razor-sculpted tail, screams purpose. The proportions are unmistakably Viper: wide stance, low roof, and that serpentine posture that looks like it's ready to strike. But the tech underneath? That's where things truly get wild. Stay with me, because what Dodge did under the hood might just redefine what muscle car even means. Let's start where every Viper story begins, with Power. Rumors suggest the 2026 Viper ditches the old 8.4-liter naturally aspirated V10, replacing it with an all-new twin-turbo 8.0-liter hybrid V10. Yes, you heard that right. Dodge has reportedly merged the brutal soul of the Viper with hybrid assist technology. The result? An estimated 900-plus horsepower, instantaneous torque from electric motors, and launch controls so fierce that early testers claim it pins you to your seat like a roller coaster drop. And this time, it's not just about going straight. Dodge engineers spent over 3 years developing a new adaptive aero system, inspired by Le Mans prototypes. Active flaps, movable rear wings, and underbody diffusers constantly shift to balance grip and top speed. The result? This thing corners like a European supercar, but still screams like Detroit Thunder. Step inside, and it's clear Dodge didn't just slap a touchscreen on the dash and call it a day. The cabin is pure fighter jet minimalism: Alcantara, carbon, and aluminum everywhere. The driver sits low, hugged by bolstered sports seats, looking over a long hood that feels infinite. The digital cockpit combines analog drama with futuristic precision, bright red graphics, adaptive performance modes, and a G-force tracker that practically dares you to push harder. And for those worried about the sound, don't be. Dodge made sure the new hybrid V10 still howls like its ancestors. Engineers developed a resonance chamber that amplifies exhaust frequencies to mimic the original Viper scream. Yes, it's part nostalgia, part innovation, and 100% goosebumps. Even the drive modes are built for adrenaline junkies. You've got track, drag, and a brand new setting called Venom Mode, which unlocks maximum electric boost and minimal traction control. A setup that's borderline dangerous. But pure Viper spirit. Now here's where it gets even crazier: the weight. Despite the hybrid tech, Dodge has kept it impressively lean. Thanks to a full carbon shell and aluminum subframes, the new Viper weighs just around 3,500 pounds, putting it right in supercar territory. But what really makes this car stand out is its attitude. It doesn't try to be polite. It doesn't whisper refinement. It growls with intent. Because the new Viper wasn't built to make everyone happy. It was built to scare everyone else. And yet, Dodge didn't stop there. They've hinted at a fully electric Viper E-Venom concept, waiting in the shadows, meaning this hybrid monster might just be the bridge between eras. But before we get to the verdict, Let's talk about what happens when this beast actually hits the track, because that's where things get real. Imagine standing trackside, the sun barely up, the air trembling from the sound of the V10 hybrid winding up. The driver hits launch control, and in less than 2.3 seconds, the Viper rockets to 60 mph. The rear tires claw at the tarmac. The hybrid motors kick in with brutal precision. And for a split second, everything else, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, even Teslas, just looks slow. The cornering performance shocks everyone. Gone is the Viper's old reputation of being untamable. This new version feels razor-sharp, using its hybrid torque vectoring system to pivot through corners with eerie precision. And yet, it still feels alive. Still raw. Still dangerous in the best possible way. The numbers start coming in. Nürburgring lap times rumored under 7 minutes flat. That would place it among the top 5 fastest production cars in the world. But what's even more impressive is how Dodge achieved it. Not with endless driver assists, not with soulless tech, but with balance. Real mechanical connection, enhanced by smart engineering. Journalists who've seen early prototypes describe it as a weapon in the shape of a car. And honestly, that sounds about right. As the run ends, you can feel it. The old Viper DNA still pulsing beneath all that modern technology. The sound, the aggression, the rebellion, it's all still there. Just evolved. The question now isn't whether Dodge brought the Viper back. It's whether they just built the greatest American performance car of the decade. But to answer that, we need to step back and look at the bigger picture, what this car really means for the future of American muscle. So here it is, the final verdict. The 2026 Dodge Viper isn't just a comeback story. It's a declaration of war. A message to every automaker that raw power, emotion, and individuality still matter, even in a world obsessed with quiet EVs and efficiency numbers. Let's talk pros first. Performance? Outrageous. Design? Instantly iconic. Sound? Goosebumps every single time. The hybrid system adds a level of versatility the old Viper never had. Instant torque, improved handling, and surprising efficiency for what it is. Inside, the quality jump is massive, finally making the Viper feel like a 200,000-plussing supercar. Not just a wild track toy. Now the cons, and yes, there are a few. It's still not a daily driver. The ride is harsh, the cabin is tight, and the visibility could make parking a nightmare. And with production numbers rumored to be limited, good luck getting your hands on one without a 6-figure markup. But honestly, that's part of the charm. The Viper has never been about convenience. It's about attitude, about showing that America can still build something insane, beautiful, and borderline terrifying. In a time when the muscle car era seems to be fading, the 2026 Viper feels like the last great stand. The final gladiator roaring in the arena before the world goes silent. It's powerful, unapologetic, and absolutely unforgettable. So, who's it for? If you want something that plays nice, this isn't your car. But if you want a machine that makes your heart race every time you hit start, something that feels alive and dangerous, the 2026 Viper is it. Because this isn't just a new model. It's a reminder of what driving used to mean. So, what do you think? Did Dodge just create the greatest modern muscle car ever? Or did they go too far in reinventing a legend? Drop your thoughts below in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the new Viper, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more next-gen performance reveals, and turn on notifications. Because what's coming next from Dodge might just blow your mind all over again. What happens when Mercedes decides that luxury should no longer have limits? When Maybach, the world's most exclusive badge of comfort and craftsmanship, is given complete freedom. No budgets, no boundaries, just imagination. You get this. The 2026 Mercedes-Maybach Mythos SL. A car that isn't trying to compete with anyone, because there's simply nothing else like it. It's a roadster that blurs the line between machine and art. A statement piece, reserved for the rare few who already own everything. Except this. And here's the twist. Mercedes won't even sell it to you unless you've already proven yourself as one of their chosen collectors. This isn't just a car launch. It's the unveiling of a new era of exclusivity. So let's take a deep look inside the most breathtaking creation Mercedes has ever built, the Maybach Mythos SL. For over 70 years, the Mercedes SL has symbolized elegance and open-top freedom. It's the car of movie stars, athletes, and dreamers, a roadster that always balanced beauty and performance. But now, that legacy has evolved. Mercedes asked a question. What if the SL became something even higher, something mythical? Enter Maybach, the name that represents the pinnacle of luxury under the Mercedes banner. Known for their limousines and chauffeur-driven sedans, Maybach has always lived in a world of silent power. But with the Mythos SL, they've done something entirely different. They've taken the soul of a sports car and infused it with the heart of a private jet. It's not just an evolution of the SL, it's the creation of a whole new identity, the Mythos series. Mercedes calls Mythos their ultra-exclusive portfolio, sitting above Maybach itself. Think of it as a members-only club for automotive royalty. Only a handful of cars will ever exist, and only hand-picked customers will be invited to own one. No waiting lists, no dealerships, no negotiations. If Mercedes calls you, you're in. If not, you'll only ever see it in pictures or at private showcases behind velvet ropes. That's the level of mystique we're dealing with. And the SL was chosen as the first Mythos model for one reason: emotion. Because the SL has always been about connection to the road, the sky, and the feeling of freedom that no luxury sedan can match. But in Mythos form, it becomes something transcendent. Let's talk design, because one glance, and you'll know this isn't a typical SL. The 2026 Mythos SL doesn't look designed by humans. It looks carved by wind and light. The silhouette is pure poetry, long, low, and wide, with curves that feel liquid. Up front, the massive Maybach grille commands presence, with thin chrome veins glistening under a coat of deep, hand-polished Mythos red metallic, a custom paint so complex, it takes nearly a week to apply and finish each body. The headlights feature embedded Swarovski crystals, each refracting light into a soft sparkle. It's not just illumination, it's theater. The most striking element? The split windscreen, inspired by vintage racing speedsters and luxury yachts. It divides the cabin visually into two floating cockpits, driver and passenger. And behind it, twin fairings flow like waves, housing the retractable roof and forming one of the cleanest speedster profiles ever created. The rear end, pure sculpture. Chrome streaks blend into an illuminated Maybach emblem. And hidden beneath the smooth tail lies a deployable spoiler that adjusts itself based on wind resistance. Even the wheels tell a story. 22-inch forged discs with intricate Maybach etching, polished by hand and finished in black diamond lacquer. Every part of this car feels like it belongs in a museum. Yet it's made to move, like a missile. Step inside, and you immediately realize this isn't a car cabin. It's an experience. The interior is hand-built in Sindelfingen, where master craftsmen spend over 300 hours on each unit. The seats are wrapped in glacier-white Napa leather with rose-gold stitching, while the dashboard flows in real walnut and satin aluminum. Each air vent is machined from a single block of metal. The carpet is a silk blend woven for sound insulation. Even the seatbelt buckles are gold-finished. In front of you, the latest MBUX hyperscreen stretches across the entire dashboard. But instead of sharp, tech-heavy visuals, it uses soft, fluid animations that feel alive, almost breathing. You can change themes to match your mood, from sunset serenity to velvet drive. The steering wheel has touch-sensitive zones that respond to your grip pressure. And of course, there's the Maybach fragrance system, re-engineered from Mythos with a scent called Essence of Infinity. It's subtle, earthy, woody, with a hint of amber. And it's exclusive to Mythos customers only. This interior doesn't overwhelm you with technology, it seduces you with serenity. But let's not forget, beneath all this luxury lies serious performance. Under the hood sits a handcrafted 4.0-liter twin-turbocharged V8, combined with a mild hybrid system that adds an instant torque boost. The result, 831 horsepower. It launches from 0-60 mph in just 2.8 seconds, despite weighing nearly 2 tons. And yes, it's all-wheel drive. with torque vectoring so precise it can shift power to individual wheels in milliseconds. The 9-speed transmission glides so smoothly it feels telepathic. The air suspension scans the road ahead using cameras, adjusting damping before you even feel imperfections. It's not just adaptive, it's predictive. And when you activate Mythos Drive mode, the entire car transforms. The exhaust deepens into a low, velvet growl. The suspension stiffens just enough to carve corners with precision, and the steering tightens into that perfect blend of weight and confidence. It's not angry. It's composed, effortless, powerful, but polite about it. Now picture this moment. It's sunset on the Amalfi Coast. The road curves along cliffs. The air smells like salt and sea. You're behind the wheel of the Mythos SL, roof down, wind flowing through the cabin like silk. The horizon is gold. You flick the paddle. The V8 whispers, then growls. And just like that, the world slows down. This car doesn't shout. It sings. The throttle responds instantly. The exhaust hums in deep resonance, and the steering feels alive, like it's reading your thoughts. Every curve, every straight, it flows with you, not against you. It's the sensation of complete harmony between human and machine. You forget the speed, the technology, even the numbers, because what you're feeling is emotion, distilled. And then as you stop at a viewpoint, the engine quiets, the lights dim, and the silence returns. You look around, realizing that what you just experienced isn't just driving. It's a symphony. Every piece, every note, perfectly orchestrated. That's what the 2026 Maybach Mythos SL delivers. Not performance for bragging rights, but emotion for the soul. So what does this car really represent? It's not about horsepower. It's not about price. It's about status, not the kind you buy, but the kind you're invited into. The Mythos SL is Mercedes sending a message to the world that even in an age of electric hypercars and AI driving systems, there's still room for passion, craftsmanship, and human touch. This car isn't built on an assembly line. It's crafted like a watch, like a Stradivarius. Every piece, every stitch, every sound, perfectly measured to create serenity on wheels. Only around 50 units will be built worldwide. Each one unique, each one tailored down to the last screw to match its owner's vision. And yes, the price will easily cross $2.5 million depending on customization. But for those who can afford it, the price doesn't matter, because ownership itself is the luxury. What Mercedes has done here isn't just build a car. They've built an experience. They've created a new standard, not for performance, but for presence. The 2026 Maybach Mythos SL is proof that in a world rushing toward automation, true luxury is still handmade, hand-polished, and human at heart. So what do you think? Has Mercedes just created the most beautiful roadster of the decade? Or have they gone too far, turning a car into art for the ultra-elite? Let me know in the comments below, because one thing's certain, the Mythos SL doesn't just raise the bar for luxury. It redefines what luxury means. And if this is what the future of Maybach looks like, the rest of the world has a lot of catching up to do. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Mercedes's newest masterpiece, hit that like button, subscribe for more detailed car reviews, and turn on notifications, because next week, we're taking a look at another ultra-luxury machine that's shaking up the automotive world. Until then, drive safe, stay curious, and never stop chasing perfection.
Every time you think Porsche has reached perfection, they prove you wrong. The 2026 911 Turbo S is the latest proof, faster, sharper, and smarter than ever before. It isn't just a facelift. It's a complete evolution of one of the most legendary performance cars ever built. With more power, new hybrid tech, and mind-bending acceleration, the 2026 Turbo S is rewriting the rules of speed. We're talking 0 to 60 in under 2.5 seconds, brutal traction, and technology so advanced it almost feels unfair. But here's the real question. Has Porsche finally built a supercar that even electric rivals can't touch? Stay tuned. What they've done with the new 911 Turbo S will absolutely blow your mind. For over half a century, the Porsche 911 Turbo has been the ultimate benchmark for everyday supercars. It's the car that can outrun Ferraris in the morning and glide through downtown traffic in the evening without breaking a sweat. And now, in 2026, Porsche has pushed that concept further than anyone expected. This new Turbo S represents the most advanced chapter in the 911 story, blending tradition with modern innovation. While it still carries the iconic silhouette, nearly every system beneath the skin is brand new. Porsche engineers wanted to make the Turbo S quicker, more stable, and more efficient, while keeping that unmistakable rear-engine character intact. Why now? Because the performance world is changing fast. Electric supercars like the Tesla Plaid and Rimac Nevera dominate the acceleration charts. So Porsche responded the only way they know how, by making the 911 Turbo S even more intelligent, more connected, and more relentless. The result isn't just another model year update, it's a technological statement that says, we're still the masters of internal combustion performance. And as you'll see, the execution is flawless. Let's start with design. At first glance, the 2026 911 Turbo S looks familiar. Those classic round headlights, muscular rear haunches, and wide stance remain. But look closer and you'll spot the evolution. The front fascia features new adaptive aero blades that open or close depending on speed and cooling needs. The side intakes are larger, feeding air to an upgraded twin-turbo flat-six engine. Around back, a wider variable geometry wing automatically adjusts angle to keep the car glued to the road. The body itself has been lightened using more aluminum and carbon fiber reinforced plastic, cutting nearly 60 pounds while increasing stiffness. Every surface serves a purpose, whether it's channeling air, reducing lift, or cooling the brakes. Step inside, and the cabin is pure Porsche luxury blended with motorsport focus. A new curved digital display wraps around the driver, offering instant access to drive modes, boost pressure, and hybrid assist levels. The steering wheel houses dedicated buttons for power management, allowing quick adjustments between full boost and efficiency settings. And yes, you heard that right, hybrid assist. For 2026, Porsche introduces mild hybrid technology to the Turbo as a compact electric motor integrated into the transmission adds an extra 60 horsepower during acceleration and smooths out turbo lag completely. The combined output now reaches a jaw-dropping 770 horsepower and over 700 pound-feet of torque. All that power goes through Porsche's lightning-fast 8-speed PDK dual-clutch transmission, sending torque to all four wheels through a smarter, all-wheel drive system that constantly predicts grip levels using sensors and GPS data. The result? Instant traction and explosive launches every single time. Performance estimates are staggering. To 60 miles per hour in 2.3 seconds. Quarter mile in the low tens, and a top speed just under 210 miles per hour. Yet it still returns better fuel efficiency than the previous model, thanks to hybrid optimization and improved aerodynamics. The suspension uses Porsche Active Ride Control, a next-generation adaptive system that reads the road 500 times per second and adjusts each corner individually. Combine that with rear axle steering and massive carbon ceramic brakes, and you have a car that feels both effortless and invincible. In real-world driving, it's a blend of calm and chaos, docile in traffic, then a rocket ship when you push the throttle. But the most impressive part isn't just the numbers, it's how it delivers them. The 911 Turbo S makes insane performance feel accessible to anyone behind the wheel. Picture this. You're sitting at the starting line of an empty runway. One tap on the Sport Plus mode, launch control engaged. The revs build, the turbos whistle, and the mild hybrid system hums quietly, ready. You release the brake, and the world blurs. The Turbo S doesn't accelerate. It teleports. There's no drama, no wheel spin, just relentless forward motion. Within seconds, you're past 60, past 100, and your brain is trying to keep up with what your body feels. Yet even at these speeds, the car feels planted, composed, and confident. The steering feedback is razor sharp, giving you surgical precision through every corner dot as you push through sweeping turns. The rear engine layout gives that classic 911 balance, slight weight transfer, then perfect grip. The adaptive suspension stiffens instantly, the rear wing tilts down, and the car slices through air like it's on rails. Braking from high speed feels just as unbelievable. The carbon ceramic rotors bite hard but smooth, bringing you back to calm without a hint of fade. Everything about the experience screams precision. And then, when you switch back to normal mode, the Turbo S settles down. The exhaust quiets, the hybrid motor glides you through city streets, and the car becomes as comfortable as a luxury coupe. That's the magic of the 911 Turbo S. It gives you supercar intensity when you want it, and serenity when you don't. It's the kind of engineering that makes you realize Porsche isn't chasing anyone, they're setting the standard. This is the turning point where brute power meets intelligence in perfect harmony. So, what's the verdict on the 2026 Porsche 911 Turbo S? In one word, mastery. Porsche has once again taken everything they've learned from decades of racing and refined it into a machine that's both brutally fast and beautifully civilized. The advantages are undeniable. Lightning acceleration, near telepathic handling, and technology that pushes mechanical limits without losing the soul of driving. The hybrid assist feels invisible but powerful, eliminating lag and delivering an instant punch of torque. The new aerodynamics make it more stable than ever, and the cabin brings digital precision without sacrificing Porsche's timeless design. Are there downsides? A few. With pricing expected to start around $240,000, it's far from affordable. And with so much performance available, some purists might miss the simpler, analog feel of older 911s. But for anyone looking for the ultimate, everyday supercar, something you can drive to work, then to a racetrack on the weekend, this is as close to perfection as it gets. More importantly, the 2026 Turbo S shows how Porsche plans to evolve. It proves that hybridization doesn't have to mean losing emotion. IT can enhance it. It's a glimpse into a future where technology amplifies the thrill rather than replaces it. In a world where electric cars are silent and sanitized, the 911 Turbo S reminds us that emotion still matters, that the sound of a flat six at full boost can still make your heart race. So tell me, do you think Porsche has just built the most complete supercar in the world? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if this first look impressed you, and subscribe for more deep dive reviews of the cars redefining performance in 2026. Because if this is where the 911 is headed, the future of driving might be even more exciting than its past. Imagine taking the spirit of the classic Mustang, that roar, that power, that unmistakable presence, and infusing it with technology and engineering straight from a race car. That's exactly what Ford just did. The 2026 Ford Mustang GTD isn't a simple upgrade. It's a declaration of war on European supercars. This is the Mustang that blurs the line between street and track, a machine built to destroy lap times while turning heads everywhere it goes. Ford didn't just raise the bar, they ripped it out of the ground. With over 800 horsepower, a track-focused body, and an interior that looks ready for Le Mans, the GTD is rewriting Mustang history. But here's the question: can this ultimate Mustang really challenge the legends of Europe? Stay tuned, because what Ford has done here is unlike anything you've ever seen. Wearing a pony badge, the Ford Mustang has been the heartbeat of American performance for nearly 60 years. It started as an affordable sports car for everyone, evolved into a cultural icon, and now it's stepping into uncharted territory. The GTD is not about nostalgia. It's about evolution. The name GTD stands for Gran Turismo Daytona, a tribute to Ford's endurance racing roots and its mission to dominate both the track and the streets. It's inspired by the Ford Mustang GT3, the full-blown race car that will compete in the world's toughest endurance events, including Le Mans. But here's where things get wild. This GTD is fully street legal. Ford built it to show that an American automaker can create a precision instrument capable of rivaling Porsche GT3 RS, MG Black Series, and even Ferrari's elite performance lineup. From the first glance, you know this isn't your neighbor's weekend Mustang. It sits wider, lower, and meaner, with an attitude that screams purpose. Ford's engineers didn't just design it to look fast, they engineered it with one goal: to make it the most capable Mustang ever built. And make no mistake, this is not about chasing horsepower numbers. This is about creating a perfectly balanced driving experience. As we go deeper, you'll see how Ford blended pure muscle with race-bred control in ways that will make even European purists pause. Let's start with the visuals, because the GTD demands attention before it even starts the engine. Every panel, every curve, every vent is functional. The body is sculpted from lightweight carbon fiber, dramatically reducing weight while increasing rigidity. The hood features deep extraction vents to cool the engine bay, while the massive front splitter and rear diffuser manage airflow like something out of Formula Racing. Then there's the rear wing. It's not just a statement piece. It's an active aerodynamic element that changes its angle depending on speed and cornering, providing downforce when you need grip and reducing drag when you don't. This isn't a show car gimmick. It's real race tech, tuned for the street. Move to the side, and you'll notice the widened fenders and lowered stance. The GTD rides on custom-forged magnesium wheels wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2R tires, the same rubber found on elite track machines. The titanium exhaust system exits through the rear fascia with a sound that's both brutal and beautiful, the perfect mix of race car and American muscle. Inside, it's a driver's dream. Carbon fiber and Alcantara cover the cabin, giving it that race-ready look while maintaining premium comfort. Recaro bucket seats keep you locked in tight through every turn. Behind the seats, the rear seats are gone, replaced by a structural carbon brace that increases chassis stiffness. The steering wheel feels like it was lifted straight from a GT3 cockpit. And the large digital display puts performance data front and center. Every part of the interior is designed to keep your focus on the drive. Now, let's talk power, the heart of the beast. Under the hood lives a hand-assembled 5.2-liter supercharged V8, pushing over 800 horsepower. This engine isn't just a tuned version of the Shelby GT500s. It's been re-engineered for higher performance, smoother response, and extreme durability under track conditions. Power is delivered to the rear wheels through an 8-speed, dual-clutch transmission that sits at the back of the car, part of a transaxle layout for perfect 50-50 weight distribution. That means sharper handling, faster shifts, and balance unlike any Mustang before it. Ford has kept most performance stats under wraps, but insiders hint at 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds and a top speed approaching 200 miles per hour. And with the advanced adaptive suspension system derived from race technology, it's ready to dominate both the racetrack and public roads. Everything about this car feels like Ford set out not just to build a fast Mustang, but to prove a point. And the real test comes when you push it to its limits. Press the start button and the GTD explodes to life. The engine growls, then roars, a sound so deep and mechanical that it sends chills down your spine. As you roll onto the track, the first thing you notice is the precision. This isn't the old-school muscle car that simply goes fast in a straight line. This is something sharper, smarter, and more alive. The throttle reacts instantly, the steering feels direct, and the grip, it's unreal. You throw it into a corner expecting body roll, but it stays flat and planted. The aerodynamic package keeps it glued to the pavement. You can feel the car working with you, not against you. As the revs climb past 7,000, the V8 screams in perfect harmony with the transmission's rapid-fire shifts. The car dances through corners, transitions smoothly, and then rockets out with a fury that feels almost supernatural. This is the moment you realize Ford wasn't exaggerating. The Mustang GTD doesn't just keep up with the European elite, it threatens to beat them on their own turf. It feels like a Mustang that graduated from the school of precision racing, and the best part? It still has that raw, emotional Mustang soul. You hear every note, you feel every vibration, and you sense the history behind the badge, but now wrapped in cutting edge technology and refinement. It's not just a muscle car anymore. It's something far greater. The 2026 Mustang GTD represents the turning point, where American engineering stands toe-to-toe with the world's best. And maybe even takes the crown. So, after everything, what's the verdict on the 2026 Ford Mustang GTD? It's more than a car. It's a statement, bold, loud, and proud. It proves that Ford can build a machine that competes with the most advanced track-focused cars in existence while keeping that unmistakable Mustang DNA alive. The positives are clear: jaw-dropping power, race-derived aerodynamics, cutting-edge engineering, and a driving experience that feels truly next level. It's the most ambitious Mustang ever created, period. But it's not without its challenges. With a price rumored around $300,000 to $350,000, it's far from accessible to most enthusiasts. It's also being produced in limited numbers, making it an instant collector's item rather than a common sight on the road. And while it can drive on the street, its true home will always be the racetrack. Still, that's what makes it special. The GTD isn't built to please everyone. It's built to inspire, to show that American muscle can evolve without losing its identity. It's the kind of car that tells the world, we can do it too, and do it our way. In a market where electric cars and quiet performance dominate, the Mustang GTD stands as a loud reminder of what driving passion feels like. It's not silent. It's not subtle. It's pure emotion, wrapped in carbon fiber and powered by fire. So, what do you think? Has Ford just built a true rival to Europe's finest? Is this the moment where the Mustang becomes more than a muscle car? Share your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you enjoyed this deep dive. And don't forget to subscribe, because the automotive revolution is only getting started, and this is just the beginning. What if the most iconic muscle car in America suddenly turned into a pickup truck without losing an ounce of its Mustang soul? The 2026 Ford Mustang pickup isn't just a bold experiment, it's a full-blown revolution that blends V8 muscle with next-gen tech and everyday utility. Imagine the roar of a Mustang, but now with a truck bed and off-road power to match. Could this be the future of American performance, or the wildest gamble Ford's ever made? Let's find out. When you think of the Mustang, you think of raw power, rear-wheel drive, and that unmistakable growl that's defined American muscle for nearly 6 decades. But Ford just did something no one saw coming. They turned their legendary coupe into a pickup truck. The 2026 Ford Mustang pickup isn't just another experiment. It's a statement of how far performance and practicality can merge in one bold creation. Built on Ford's evolving performance platform, this new Mustang brings the heritage of Detroit muscle into a whole new era, one that doesn't settle for tradition but reinvents it. Designed to attract both die-hard enthusiasts and new buyers who want something thrilling yet functional. It aims to shake up not just the sports car segment, but the entire mid-size truck market. And here's where things get really interesting. Ford claims this isn't just a rebadged F-150 or a gimmick with a Mustang badge. They're promising authentic Mustang DNA, backed by a V8 heart and cutting-edge driver tech. But does it really live up to the hype, or is this just clever marketing wrapped in a familiar name? Let's dive in and see if Ford truly pulled off the impossible. From the very first glance, the 2026 Ford Mustang pickup doesn't try to hide what it is: bold, muscular, and unmistakably American. It's got that wide, aggressive Mustang front fascia, complete with the signature tri-bar LED headlights and sculpted hood lines that make it look ready to pounce. But now, the stance is taller, the body more athletic, and the proportions stretched just enough to fit a practical yet performance-ready truck bed. It's like the Mustang, you know, just wearing hiking boots. Step inside, and Ford makes sure you feel that blend of heritage and innovation. The cockpit still carries the fighter jet-inspired layout from the current Mustang, but it's been elevated with more space, higher seating, and tech that feels a step ahead. A massive 13.2-inch curved touchscreen dominates the center, running Ford's latest SYNC5 interface, quick, intuitive, and loaded with voice controls. The digital gauge cluster can transform its layout based on drive mode, whether you're cruising downtown or tearing up a mountain road. But let's talk power, because what's a Mustang without muscle? Under the hood, you'll find Ford's 5.0-liter Coyote V8, tuned to push out a staggering 480 horsepower. That's more than enough to make this truck the loudest thing at any stoplight. But for those looking for a balance between thrill and efficiency, Ford also offers a turbocharged EcoBoost V6 option with mild hybrid assistance, designed to deliver punchy acceleration with better fuel economy. Either way, the sound alone is enough to make your pulse jump. Now here's where things get really interesting. Ford's engineers didn't just bolt a bed onto a Mustang frame. They reworked the chassis with reinforced rear suspension, adaptive dampers, and optional all-wheel drive. The result? A vehicle that handles like a sports coupe on the road, but can still tackle a dirt trail or haul a weekend's worth of gear without breaking a sweat. Imagine doing 0 to 60 in under 4.5 seconds, while carrying your mountain bike in the back. Of course, Ford didn't forget about tech. There's a 360-degree camera, self-parking assist, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and a new track mode that logs your performance runs. And for the first time in a performance pickup, there's an exhaust customizer built into the infotainment. Yes, you can actually tune how your V8 sounds. But not everything's perfect. The price is expected to start north of $45,000 and climb fast with options. Plus, while Ford promises impressive towing figures, the short bed limits utility for serious work. And that aggressive design? It's likely to divide traditional truck buyers. Still, for Mustang fans craving more practicality or truck lovers wanting more thrill, this could hit the sweet spot no one saw coming. And that's where the real question begins. Can a muscle truck truly deliver both passion and practicality? Because up next, we're breaking down the key highlights and drawbacks, including one feature that might completely change how you see this vehicle. And then, the moment everyone's been waiting for, the drive. You press that red start button, and the 2026 Ford Mustang pickup roars to life with a thunderous growl that shakes the ground beneath you. It's not just noise, It's nostalgia meeting innovation. The V8 snarls with authority, the exhaust crackles with every gear shift. And within seconds, you realize this isn't a concept pretending to be a muscle truck. It is one. On open roads, the Mustang pickup feels surprisingly balanced. The steering is tight and direct, and the adaptive suspension keeps the weight in check even through sharp corners. It dives in like a coupe, but with the stance and confidence of a truck. You can feel that Mustang DNA pulsing through every turn, and yet, when you hit a dirt trail, it doesn't flinch. The power delivery stays smooth. The traction control fine-tunes every slip, and the ride remains composed, almost too composed for something this wild. Then comes the real shocker. In test runs, the Mustang pickup hits 0 to 60 in just 4.3 seconds, faster than most mid-size trucks on the market, and dangerously close to the Mustang GT itself. It's a mix of brute force and futuristic control that shouldn't coexist, but somehow does. Yet even as it impresses, the pickup's dual identity becomes its biggest question mark. It's thrilling, yes, but is it practical enough for daily life? Can it justify its price and bold new form, or will purists reject it as a betrayal of Mustang heritage? One thing's for sure, Ford didn't play it safe. They built something that dares to challenge what an American performance vehicle can be. Because what comes next might decide whether the 2026 Mustang pickup is the future of muscle, or a fascinating detour on the road to it. So, after all, the hype, all the numbers, and that unforgettable roar, what's the final verdict on the 2026 Ford Mustang pickup? In a world where automakers are playing it safe, Ford has done something refreshingly bold. They've built a vehicle that refuses to fit neatly into any category, part muscle car, part mid-size truck, and entirely its own breed of performance machine. The result is a creation that blends the thrill of a Mustang with the versatility of a pickup, something that sounds impossible, yet somehow works. For the enthusiasts, this is a dream come true. A V8-powered rebel that brings excitement back to the road and utility to your weekends. The handling is sharp, the acceleration is addictive, and the styling? It's a rolling statement that demands attention everywhere it goes. But it's not without flaws. The bed size limits true work truck practicality, the rear space could be better, and the price might scare off some traditional buyers. And while the purists might call it sacrilege, the truth is, this Mustang wasn't built for them. It's built for a new generation of drivers who want performance and purpose, thrill and practicality. In today's market, where everything is going hybrid or electric, the 2026 Mustang pickup stands out as one of the last raw expressions of combustion passion and a glimpse into how muscle cars might evolve to stay relevant. It's daring, different, and unapologetically loud about it. So, is it the perfect car for everyone? No, but is it one of the most exciting and conversation-starting vehicles Ford has built in years? Absolutely. Now it's your turn. What? Do you think of the new Mustang pickup? Is this the future of American muscle, or did Ford push too far from its roots? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if you enjoyed the breakdown, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next, because the next wave of performance cars is just getting started.
There are cars that make noise, and then there are cars that make history. For decades, the Chevrolet Nova wasn't just a car. It was a rebellion on wheels. It wasn't rich, it wasn't fancy. But when that 454 big block roared, the streets listened. It was the underdog that refused to lose, the kind of car that made you feel alive again. And now, it's back. The 2026 Nova SS 454 Big Block is here, resurrected, re-engineered, and ready to make a whole new generation fall in love with muscle all over again. But here's the real question. in a world obsessed with electric silence and screens. Can a V8 still make people feel something real? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might just believe it can. To understand what makes this comeback so special, we have to travel back to the golden era, when the Nova ruled the backstreets of America. The late 60s and early 70s were a time when horsepower was freedom. The Nova SS, especially when fitted with the legendary 454 big block, became the working man's Corvette, simple, brutal, and unstoppable. It wasn't built for fame. It was built for fun, for late-night runs, for the smell of burnt rubber, for that one moment when you left everything else behind in the rearview mirror. But then, the world changed. Emission laws tightened, gas prices spiked, and the muscle era faded into memory. The Nova name quietly disappeared, becoming a legend whispered between generations of gearheads. Fast forward to 2026, Chevrolet could have easily kept that memory buried, but they didn't. They brought the Nova back with purpose. This isn't just a car. It's a message, a love letter to every driver who still remembers what real power feels like, under the guidance of Chevy's heritage performance team, the same minds that worked on the Camaro ZL1 and Corvette Z06. The Nova SS returns with a single mission: to prove that muscle still matters. And from the moment you see it, you realize this car wasn't built to blend in. It was built to bring fire back into a world that's forgotten how to feel. The first thing you notice about the 2026 Chevrolet Nova SS 454 is its attitude. It doesn't scream for attention. It demands it. The design team went back to the roots, reimagining the 1970s Nova for a new era. The front end is an unapologetic wall of muscle, a squared grille finished in black chrome, framed by deep LED headlights that echo the shape of the originals. The SS badge sits dead center, proud, iconic, defiant. The hood? A sculpted steel monster with dual vents that feed oxygen straight into that massive 7.4-liter heart below. From the side, you get that perfect muscle car silhouette. Long hood, short deck, wide stance, with a roofline that looks like it's slicing through the air. Chevy didn't overstyle it. They respected it. The Nova's shape speaks for itself. Strong, bold, timeless. At the back, those squared taillights make their legendary return, glowing red like a signature from the past. A quad exhaust setup growls beneath a carbon fiber diffuser, while a subtle lip spoiler adds just enough aggression to let you know this isn't nostalgia, it's evolution. Then comes the masterpiece, that engine. Lift the hood and you're staring at a 7.4-liter naturally aspirated V8, the modern reincarnation of the 454 big block. This monster produces 640 horsepower and 30 lb-ft of torque, without a single turbo, without a single hybrid motor. It's raw, mechanical, and beautifully alive. Paired with a 6-speed manual transmission, it gives you full control over the chaos. No artificial noise, no computer nannying, just you, the clutch, and the roar of Detroit. Inside, the Nova doesn't try to be futuristic. It tries to be real. There's leather and Alcantara where it counts, analog dials that pay tribute to the past, and digital readouts where performance matters most. The center screen integrates Chevy's latest performance HUD, showing throttle position, lateral G-forces, and even real-time engine temperature. The steering wheel, perfectly weighted, flat-bottomed, wrapped in suede, and ready for battle. Drive it once, and you get it. The Nova doesn't feel like a car from the past. It feels like the past and future made peace. It's raw when you want it to be, refined when you need it to be, and absolutely intoxicating every time you step on the gas. You can take it on a highway cruise and enjoy comfort. But flick it into Sport Plus, and suddenly it's like the car grows fangs. The throttle sharpens, exhaust valves open wide, and the big block unleashes a sound that could wake a neighborhood, or a nation. And the crazy part, it's balanced. It's not just a straight-line brute anymore. Chevy has tuned the suspension, steering, and chassis to make this car corner like a predator. It's the perfect blend, classic aggression, modern control. But here's where things get interesting. Rumors are swirling about a Super Sport R Edition, a potential 700-plus horsepower variant that could challenge the Hellcat and Dark Horse head-on. If that's true, Chevy's not just bringing muscle back. They're declaring war. You turn the key, and the world goes quiet for half a second. Then, thunder. That big block roars to life deep and feral, like it's been waiting 50 years to breathe again. The sound alone could tell a story. One of rebellion, pride, and fire. You drop it into first, and the Nova leaps forward, claws digging into the asphalt. 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. But that's not the point. It's not how fast it is. It's how alive it feels. Every rev, every shift, every vibration through the steering wheel reminds you that this isn't a machine made for efficiency. It's made for emotion. For you, the steering fights back slightly. The tires grip with purpose, and when you lift off the throttle, the crackling exhaust sounds like applause from the gods of horsepower. At full throttle, the 454 doesn't whisper, it screams. You feel it in your bones, in your chest, in your heartbeat, and for a moment it's 1970 again. You're not in traffic. You're not in a hybrid world. You're back in the golden age, where cars weren't just transport. They were identity. That's what Chevy has brought back. Not just a model, but a memory reborn. And as the Nova rockets down that last straightaway, you can't help but think, this is more than just horsepower. This is legacy. Living, breathing, roaring legacy. So, what's the final verdict on the 2026 Chevrolet Nova SS 454 Big Block? It's more than a comeback. It's a reminder of what we've lost, and what we're still capable of building when passion drives design. This isn't a car for everyone. It's not practical, it's not quiet, it's not eco-friendly, but it's real, and that's something rare in today's world. The Nova SS is for those who still feel their heart race when they hear an engine start. For those who believe a car should have a soul, not just a software update. For those who grew up watching their dad turn a wrench, dreaming of the day they could do the same. It's for the believers, the ones who never let go of the dream that driving could still be pure. In a world turning electric, this car is a heartbeat that refuses to fade. It's Chevy saying, we remember. We remember the smell of gas, the roar of the engine, the thrill of control, and maybe, just maybe, this is the spark that keeps that fire alive. So now I'll ask you, what does the new Nova mean to you? Is it the rebirth we've been waiting for? Or the last great stand of muscle before the silence takes over? Tell me in the comments below, and if you felt even a spark of that old school fire in your chest while watching this. If this video made you remember why you love cars, then don't just scroll away, join this family. Hit that like button, subscribe, and help us keep real automotive passion alive. Because this channel isn't about views, it's about keeping emotion on the road. And as long as you're here, the roar of the Nova and the spirit of American muscle will never die. What if the American family sedan just became a muscle car again? The name Impala SS 427 is back, and it's louder, meaner, and more advanced than anyone expected. After years of silence, Chevrolet has resurrected one of its most legendary badges, and this time, it's built to shake up the performance world. The 2026 Chevrolet Impala SS 427 isn't just another luxury sedan. It's a four-door beast with supercar DNA, a shocking new design, and the soul of classic American muscle. But has Chevy truly brought the glory days back? Or is this just nostalgia wearing a modern suit? Stay tuned, because what you're about to see might change how you look at sedans forever. The Impala name runs deep in American automotive history. Since the 1960s, it stood for style, size, and serious horsepower, the kind of car your dad dreamed of cruising on Sunday afternoons. The SS 427 in particular was a legend, a big block V8 monster that combined elegance with pure muscle. But as the world shifted toward efficiency and SUVs took over, the Impala slowly faded away. By 2020, the badge was gone, and many believed it would never return, until now. For 2026, Chevrolet has done the unthinkable, bringing back the Impala SS 427, but with a 21st century twist. It's no longer just a cruiser, it's a statement. A luxury performance sedan designed to go head-to-head with BMW M5s, Dodge Chargers, and even electric performance sedans. At first glance, the design shocks you. It's sleek but muscular, futuristic yet unmistakably American. A long sculpted hood, Bold LED signature lights and an aggressive fastback profile give it presence like no other Chevy sedan. And those quad exhaust tips? They're not for show. They're a promise. Chevrolet built this new Impala on a re-engineered Alpha 2 platform, sharing DNA with the Camaro and Corvette programs. But here's the twist. It's not purely electric, not purely gas. It's something in between, a reborn muscle sedan for a new generation that wants performance without losing personality. And if the looks don't grab you, wait until you hear what's under that hood. Yes, the rumors are true. The 2026 Impala SS427 brings back the legendary number with modern fury. Under the hood sits a 6.2-liter LT2 V8, the same core architecture found in the mid-engine Corvette Stingray, but heavily retuned for sedan duty. It's paired with a mild hybrid assist system that adds instant torque and improves efficiency. Combined output? A staggering 620 horsepower and 610 pound-feet of torque. This setup allows the Impala SS to sprint from 8 to 60 mph in 3.5 seconds, numbers that would embarrass supercars from just a decade ago. And while most modern sedans whisper down the road, this one growls. A new active exhaust system lets you choose between 4 sound profiles, from stealthy cruise to full track mode where the pipes open up and the V8 bellows like thunder. The transmission is an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic, lightning fast and crisp. Power goes to the rear wheels by default, but an optional performance AWD system with torque vectoring keeps things glued when you launch hard. Then there's the handling. This is no soft highway cruiser anymore. Adaptive magnetic ride control adjusts every millisecond, stiffening in corners, relaxing on straights. The steering feels tight, responsive, and precise, like the Impala suddenly spent time at a European driving school. Inside, it's all about modern muscle luxury. Black suede, brushed aluminum, and red stitching line the cockpit. A massive curved OLED display stretches across the dash, blending a digital cluster with Chevy's newest infotainment tech. You get Google built in, wireless Apple CarPlay, 5G connectivity, and even a dedicated performance HUD that projects live G-forces, gear shifts, and power output right onto the windshield. And just when you think Chevy forgot the roots, they added a subtle retro touch, an SS427 badge carved into the steering wheel. Glowing softly in red when you start the car, Chevy also introduces Launch Assist AI, a system that analyzes traction and tire temperature before you floor it, ensuring every launch feels violent but perfectly controlled. Even with all that power, the new Impala can still deliver up to 24 mpg combined, thanks to cylinder deactivation and hybrid assist. It's a rare mix of efficiency and insanity, but here's the part that surprises everyone. It's not just performance. It's comfort, space, and practicality, all wrapped in an aggressive shell. You can take it to the grocery store or destroy lap times on a weekend track day. It's the dual personality that makes this car so dangerous to its competition. And yet, Chevy didn't stop there. They've hinted at an even wilder ZL1 SS427 Track Edition, rumored to push nearly 700 horsepower. If that becomes real, the European sedans better start sweating. But before we crown it the new king, let's see how it behaves when unleashed. Imagine this. Early morning at Road Atlanta. The 2026 Impala SS427 sits at the start line, its V8 idling deep and rhythmic. A tap of the paddle, the revs rise, and the hybrid torque kicks in instantly. The launch is violent yet smooth. 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. The exhaust screams as the sedan tears through corners it has no business taking that fast. The adaptive suspension keeps it perfectly flat, while the steering communicates every inch of asphalt beneath you. Drivers describe it as unexpectedly balanced, like a Corvette Grand Sport wearing a business suit. The brakes bite hard, the rear tires dance, and when the dust settles, the Impala posts a lap time close to the BMW M5 competition. A Chevy family sedan, going toe-to-toe with Germany's finest. But that's the moment everyone realizes. This isn't just a nameplate revival, it's a reinvention. Chevrolet didn't build the new Impala SS to follow trends. They built it to remind the world that America can still deliver soul, sound, and shock value in one package. As it crosses the finish line, that glowing SS427 badge feels like a heartbeat. Old school muscle, reborn through modern engineering. The question now isn't whether it's fast enough. It's whether the world is ready for muscle sedans to make a comeback. So, after all the hype, does the 2026 Chevrolet Impala SS427 live up to the legend? In a single word, absolutely. It's fast, bold, and unapologetically American. But more importantly, it's emotional. In a time when cars are going quiet, the Impala SS427 screams back, reminding everyone what passion sounds like. Let's break it down. Pros: incredible power, 620 horsepower with hybrid boost. Modern design, striking, aggressive, and instantly recognizable. A luxury in tech, finally a muscle car that's comfortable enough for daily life. A soundtrack, that V8 rumble never gets old. Cons: price, expect it to start around $80,000 and climb past 100K fully loaded. Weight, at nearly 4,200 pounds, it's heavier than it looks. Limited production. Chevy plans to keep SS427 numbers low to maintain exclusivity. But here's the thing, exclusivity breeds desire. And right now, this car is generating serious buzz. For Chevrolet, the 2026 Impala SS427 represents more than just a comeback. It's proof that American performance can evolve without losing its soul. It's the perfect bridge between heritage and high tech. It's for the driver who loves the sound of a V8 but also appreciates a digital HUD and hybrid torque. It's for the one who wants to roast tires on Friday and cruise with family on Sunday. And in today's world, that balance is rare. When future car historians look back at this era, the 2026 Impala SS427 might be remembered as the car that made muscle elegant again. It's not trying to copy Europe. It's not chasing EV silence. It's carving its own lane. The lane of loud, proud four-door power. So, what do you think? Did Chevrolet just create the ultimate modern muscle sedan? Or should the Impala have stayed in the past? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear your take. And if this breakdown blew your mind, hit that like button, subscribe for more new model reveals, and turn on the bell so you never miss what's next. Because the next big Chevy announcement might make even the Camaro nervous. This is the 2026 Chevrolet Impala SS427, the muscle sedan reborn, bold, beautiful, and ready to blow your mind. When you hear the words Shelby GT500, one thing comes to mind: power that commands respect. For decades, this name wasn't just a car, it was an attitude, a legacy, a raw symbol of American muscle. And now in 2026, Ford has just rewritten that legacy again. Because the all-new 2026 Ford Mustang Shelby GT500 isn't just another supercar, it's a beast reborn, engineered to strike fear into anything daring enough to line up next to it. This is not your average Mustang. This is Shelby's revenge, a thunderous return that blends classic muscle with next-generation technology in the most brutal way possible. So buckle up, because in this video, we're diving deep into the new design, the monstrous engine, the futuristic interior, and why the 2026 Shelby GT500 might just be America's most dangerous muscle car ever built. At first glance, the 2026 Shelby GT500 looks like it's ready to launch straight off a runway. The front fascia is more aggressive than ever, sharper lines, wider stance, and a massive new carbon fiber grille that practically swallows the air it breathes. Ford didn't just tweak the Mustang, they gave it an attitude problem. The hood vents are enormous, built to release all that engine heat after every screaming run. And those LED Predator lights? They don't just illuminate the road, they announce your arrival before anyone even hears that supercharger whine. From the side, you'll notice new aerodynamic muscle flares, deeper side skirts, and a quad exhaust setup that looks ready to melt asphalt. Every angle of this car screams one thing: Predator. The rear spoiler, designed with precision aerodynamics, provides serious downforce. Because this car isn't just about straight-line power anymore. It's about control, cornering, and command. Now, let's talk about what's hiding under that beastly hood. The legendary 5.2-liter supercharged V8, codenamed Predator 2.0 Ford, has reportedly tuned this monster to unleash over 850 horsepower, making it the most powerful Shelby ever built. We're talking about acceleration that'll glue your back to the seat, 0 to 60 in just 2.8 seconds. And yes, it still roars. That deep, feral exhaust note, tuned through a new active valve system, changes tone from a low growl in comfort mode to a demonic scream in track mode. But power alone doesn't make a legend, control does. That's why the 2026 GT500 comes equipped with a new 8-speed dual-clutch transmission, magnetic ride suspension, and launch control 2.0, developed with Shelby Performance Engineering. And if you think this is all about gasoline, think again. Ford is secretly testing hybrid assist technology in this model. Imagine instant torque from electric motors paired with Shelby's supercharged brutality. The result? A Mustang that doesn't just run, it attacks. Step inside, and the 2026 Shelby GT500 looks more like a fighter jet cockpit than a car. The new 12.5-inch digital cluster merges muscle nostalgia with modern sophistication, customizable gauges, race telemetry, and even a boost pressure display that lights up in red when you push the limits. The flat-bottom steering wheel, wrapped in Alcantara with Shelby badging, feels built for dominance. The seats, ultra-lightweight Recaro racing shells, keep you planted no matter how wild the ride gets. But this isn't just a track car. Ford made sure you can live with it too. The Sync 5 infotainment system, wireless CarPlay, a Bang & Olufsen sound system, and ambient lighting give it a premium feel. It's that perfect balance between beast and beauty. You can daily this car, but every time you hit the ignition, it reminds you that you're driving something truly dangerous. Carroll Shelby built cars that weren't supposed to exist. Wild machines that broke every rule. And the 2026 GT500 is a continuation of that spirit. It's more than just horsepower, it's heritage, rebellion, and American dominance forged into one roaring machine. In a world moving towards silence and electricity, the GT500 stands as a defiant heartbeat of combustion, the last great war cry of true muscle. Ford knows this could be one of the final pure-blooded V8 Shelbys before everything turns electric. So they went all in. No compromises, no shortcuts. Just pure mechanical violence wrapped in carbon fiber and steel. This car isn't just for enthusiasts. It's for believers. For those who remember what real power feels like. Not silent speed, but visceral emotion. Section 5, Price. Release and competition. The 2026 Shelby GT500 is expected to start around $92,000, climbing over $110,000 fully loaded. But at that price, it's still a bargain supercar killer, taking aim at names like the Porsche 911 Turbo, BMW M8, and even Corvette ZR1 production is rumored to begin mid-2025, with the first deliveries by early 2026. And enthusiasts worldwide are already calling it the last great Shelby, a collector's dream in motion. So what does the 2026 Shelby GT500 truly represent? It's not just about horsepower or speed. It's about a legacy that refuses to die. A car that roars in a world that's gone quiet. A machine that reminds us why we fell in love with driving in the first place. Because when you step into this Mustang, you don't just start an engine. You awaken a legend. If this is truly the final chapter for the Shelby GT500, then Ford made sure it ends with a thunderclap heard around the world. And if you felt even a spark of adrenaline while watching this, then you're one of us. Smash that subscribe button, join the Muscle family, and let's keep this fire of American performance burning together, because legends like this deserve to be remembered. This was the 2026 Ford Mustang Shelby GT500, the monster that refuses to die. I'll see you in the next ride. For over 2 decades, the name Oldsmobile Cutlass 442 has lived in silence, whispered by gearheads, remembered by fathers, and idolized by sons who never got to hear it roar. And now, in 2026, that silence is shattered. The legend is back, louder, meaner, reborn from American steel and soul. This isn't just another car launch, this is a resurrection. A moment for every true enthusiast who ever said, they don't make cars like they used to. But here's the question. Is this rebirth a glorious return of raw muscle? Or just another corporate nostalgia act, trying to cash in on memories? Buckle up. Because what you're about to see might just change how you look at American performance forever. Setup, 400-500 words, 3 to 4 minutes. The Oldsmobile 442 was never just a car. It was a symbol, a perfect storm of attitude, sound, and street dominance. Born in the golden era of the late 60s, it stood shoulder to shoulder with icons like the Chevrolet SS, the GTO, and the Charger. But the 442 had something different, a subtle sophistication beneath its raw aggression. When Oldsmobile was shut down in 2004, it felt like a chapter of American car culture had closed forever. The 442 became a legend of memory, seen in dusty posters, garage restorations, and the stories of those who lived through its era. Then came the whispers. GM was bringing Oldsmobile back, not as a gimmick, but as a statement. And when the first teaser dropped, just the sound of that engine starting, the internet exploded. That low guttural growl wasn't nostalgia, it was a promise. The 2026 Cutlass 442 is built on GM's new Heritage Performance platform, combining retro muscle architecture with modern dynamics. Everything about it, from the long, confident stance to the squared-off taillights, screams defiance in a world of electric silence. It's not apologizing for being loud. It's not hiding its roots. This car exists for one reason: to remind America what power feels like. And today, we're not just reviewing it. We're experiencing the return of a soul that refuses to die. Rising action, 800, 1,000 words, 5 to 7 minutes. Let's start with what you see, because before you even touch the ignition, the 442 makes a statement. That wide front grille with the reborn Oldsmobile insignia gleams like it's daring you to challenge it. Those hood scoops? Not just for show, they're functional, feeding air directly into a 6.4-liter naturally aspirated big block V8. Yes, you heard that right. Big block. In 2026, it pumps out a brutal 505 horsepower and 490 lb-ft of torque, delivered to the rear wheels with either an 8-speed automatic or a 6-speed manual. GM claims 0-60 in 3.6 seconds, but numbers don't tell the story here. The sound does. When you start it, it doesn't hum, it growls. A sound so raw, it feels like Detroit itself just took a breath. On the outside, it's a balance of old and new, 1970s heritage lines fused with sharp, modern aerodynamics. LED lights flow around the body, carbon fiber accents add definition, and the side profile. It's muscle poetry in motion. Step inside, and the nostalgia hits even harder. The seats? Retro-inspired bucket design wrapped in soft Napa leather with contrast stitching that spells 4042 under the headrest. The dash combines analog beauty and digital precision, a dual cluster display that nods to the classics but feels straight out of the future. Touch points? Metallic, cold, real. No cheap plastics here, but this isn't just a showpiece, and it's engineered for the drive of your life. Adaptive suspension, limited slip differential, and real-time torque vectoring make it more than just a straight-line beast. You can throw it into corners and feel it plant. Confident, grippy, alive. On the road, it's intoxicating. Every gear shift is a heartbeat. Every rev feels personal. You're not just driving. You're commanding history, and the crazy part. It's refined. Cruising in comfort mode, the engine purrs quietly, like a lion saving its roar for the right moment. The ride is smooth, the cabin insulated, the infotainment system loaded with every modern convenience. Then, switch to track mode. The exhaust valves open. The steering stiffens. You floor it, and suddenly, it's 1970 again, but faster, sharper, louder. The Cutlass 442 doesn't just move. It awakens something in you, and if that doesn't make you smile, you probably weren't meant for a car like this. Climax, 500 words, and 3 minutes. We took it to the proving grounds, long straightaways. Sharp corners, the kind of place where legends are tested. The result? The 442 doesn't just perform, it commands respect. To 60 in under 4 seconds, sure, but it's the way it does it. The launch pins you back, the exhaust cracks through the air, and you feel like you're flying through American history. Every shift a reminder of what cars used to be before they went silent. But the surprise isn't the speed, it's the soul. This car has character. It talks to you through vibrations, feedback, emotion. It's not perfect. It's not sterile. It's alive. And here's where it hits hardest. As you drive, you realize this isn't just about horsepower or torque. It's about pride. About an era reborn in a time that needs it most. Because in 2026, when everything is electric, automated, and quiet, the Oldsmobile Cutlass 442 dares to shout. When you shut off the engine, the ticking of the cooling block feels like the heartbeat of a legend. Steady, proud, unbreakable. Resolution and impact, 500-600 words, 3 to 4 minutes. After all the tests, one truth stands tall. The 2026 Oldsmobile Cutlass 442 isn't chasing nostalgia. It's redefining it. The pros are obvious. Breathtaking design, monstrous power, an authentic soul, and the kind of road presence that commands attention anywhere it goes. The cons? Sure, it's loud, thirsty, and unapologetically impractical. But that's the point. Not every car needs to be perfect. Some are meant to be passionate. At an estimated starting price of $59,995, it's not for everyone, and it's not trying to be. This is a car for the dreamers, the drivers, the believers, the ones who still turn their heads when they hear a V8 fire up in the distance. And if you're one of them, this car was built for you. In an age where performance is measured in silence, the 442 speaks in thunder. It's proof that emotion still matters, that cars can still move your heart before they move your body. So here's the takeaway. The 442 isn't just the return of a name, it's the revival of an entire feeling. A feeling that every car lover has missed, and if this story stirred even a little spark of that emotion inside you, if you felt that heartbeat, that grin, that whisper that says, God, I miss cars like this, then do one thing right now and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Because this isn't just about reviews, it's about reviving the spirit of American muscle, one car at a time. Drop your thoughts below. Would you choose the new Cutlass 442 over a Mustang or Camaro? Do you believe Oldsmobile deserves a second life? Let's talk. Because your voice, your passion, and your love for cars are what keep legends alive. And as long as people like you are watching, Oldsmobile will never fade again. What if I told you? This might be the last true American muscle car. The 2026 Dodge Charger Hellcat Hemi isn't just a car, it's a statement. A thunderous, unapologetic reminder that gasoline still has fire left to burn. While the world goes electric, Dodge just did something unthinkable. They brought back the Hemi. Louder, faster, and meaner than ever. This new Charger isn't whispering into the future. It's roaring straight through it, with supercharged power, wide-body aggression, and attitude you can feel in your chest. The 2026 Hellcat Hemi is proof that legends never die, they evolve. So buckle up, because what you're about to see might be the final chapter of pure American horsepower. Let's face it, every car lover has that one name that makes their heart race. And for millions of fans, that name is Charger. It's been the king of the streets, the symbol of rebellion, the heart of the muscle era. From movie chases to midnight drags, the Charger was more than metal. It was identity. But then came the shift. Electric cars, regulations, silence. It felt like the muscle age was over. Until now, because Dodge just shocked everyone. They've revealed the 2026 Charger Hellcat Hemi, powered by a brand new 6.2-liter supercharged V8, pushing a jaw-dropping 807 horsepower straight to the rear wheels. That's right, rear-wheel drive, manual option, and classic fury. It's built on a redesigned lightweight platform that balances old-school brawn with new-school precision. And even though Dodge has introduced electric versions too, this Hemi Hellcat, it's their tribute to everything that made muscle cars legendary. You can almost feel the message behind it. We remember what power feels like. The design, absolutely menacing. The hood scoop is massive. The fenders are wide. The headlights stare like predators. And those taillights? They glow like fire through smoke. Every inch of this car screams aggression. It's not trying to be polite. It's built to make noise, to make a statement, to make you fall in love with driving all over again. Let's open that hood, because what lives underneath is what truly matters. A 6.2-liter supercharged Hemi V8, fine-tuned to unleash 807 horsepower and 710 pound-feet of torque. The same engine family that made the Demon 170 a legend, but even sharper, even angrier. 0 to 60. 2.9 seconds. Top speed, over 205 miles per hour. But here's the secret weapon. Dodge refined the torque curve for instant power delivery. Every tap of the pedal feels like lighting a fuse. Every shift an explosion. It's controlled chaos. Add to that the new adaptive suspension, magnetic ride system, and active aerodynamics. And this beast doesn't just go fast. It grips reality itself. And that sound, oh that sound. It's not just exhaust. It's symphony. That deep, chest-rattling growl that no electric motor can ever replace. When it revs, it doesn't just move air, it moves emotions. Inside, the Hellcat Hemi mixes raw performance with modern tech. The cockpit is wrapped in leather and carbon fiber. Digital displays show boost pressure, torque split, and launch control status. And when you hit track mode, the cluster lights up red, like the car itself is warning you. You're about to unleash something wild, and yet, there's comfort. Ventilated seats, a massive Uconnect 6 display, and an optional Heritage soundtrack mode. Yes, Dodge actually lets you tune the exhaust sound, from classic rumble to race thunder. Even the key fob feels special. Red, with a chrome Hellcat emblem that gleams like it knows what it's capable of. The tires? Massive Pirelli P0s that cling to asphalt like claws. And the brakes, carbon ceramic, ready to tame the beast when you run out of courage. But here's the emotional part. Because under all that technology and horsepower, the Charger Hellcat Hemi isn't about numbers. It's about feel, that rush when you hit the gas, that grin when the supercharger whines, that pride when strangers stop to stare. This isn't just transportation, it's a heartbeat. Now picture this. A long, empty stretch of highway at dawn. The new Charger, Hellcat idling, growling, waiting. You grip the wheel. The cold air hits your face. You press the throttle, and the world erupts. The rear tires scream. The Hemi bellows like thunder rolling through a canyon. And suddenly, once you're gone, the speed, the sound, the power, it's overwhelming. You don't just drive it, you command it. Every shift is an explosion. Every second feels like freedom. And in that moment, you understand what Dodge meant when they said, electric might be the future, but this is the soul of the past, reborn. Because nothing, absolutely nothing, compares to this feeling. The roar of the V8, the smell of burnt rubber, the pulse in your chest. This isn't just a car, it's resistance, a fight to keep the spirit of real muscle alive. And Dodge just gave it one last glorious stand. So here we are. In an age of silence, Dodge chose to make noise. Beautiful, unapologetic, gasoline-fueled noise. The 2026 Charger Hellcat Hemi is more than horsepower and speed. It's a love letter to everyone who ever fell in love with cars. The ones who stayed up late watching drag races. The ones who could recognize an engine note from a mile away. The ones who know that driving isn't just about going somewhere. It's about feeling something. That's who this car is for. Let's be real. This might be the last of its kind. A rear-wheel drive, V8-powered monster with no apologies and no filters. And when that day comes, when everything goes quiet, this will be the car we remember as the one that refused to bow down. The pros. Iconic V8 with 807 horsepower, raw emotional driving feel, old-school soul with new-age precision. A design that turns every head. The cons price. Expect around $110,000. Limited availability. Only a few thousand will be built. Fuel economy. Let's be honest. Nobody cares, but for the people who understand what this car means, it's worth every penny. Because this isn't just horsepower. It's heritage. It's emotion. It's the sound of rebellion echoing through time. And if that doesn't make you love cars again, nothing will. So here's my challenge to you. If you believe the world still needs cars like this, if you believe muscle shouldn't die quietly, then hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and join the movement that keeps this fire alive. Because this channel isn't just about cars, it's about passion, history, and power. And together we're keeping the roar of the Hemi alive for the next generation. This is the 2026 Dodge Charger Hellcat Hemi, the last stand of real American muscle. And it's glorious. The Charger Hellcat Hemi isn't just back, it's rewriting the definition of power one last time. So don't blink. Because legends like this don't stay around forever. Subscribe now and be part of the generation that refuses to let muscle die. There are cars that are fast, and then there are cars that make time slow down when you drive them. The 2026 Audi R8 is one of those cars. It's not just about power or speed. It's about precision, balance, and the art of engineering perfection. And now, with this final evolution, Audi says the R8 is smarter, sharper, and more sophisticated than ever before. But with the world shifting toward electric performance, the question is, can a car like this still matter? Or is the 2026 R8 the last great chapter of a dying breed? Let's find out. The Audi R8 has always been a car that defied expectations. When it first hit the scene back in 2006, nobody thought Audi, a brand known for all-weather sedans, could take on Ferrari and Lamborghini. Yet it did. It became a halo car that proved Germany could deliver emotion and excitement, as well as precision and control. And for nearly 2 decades, the R8 has been Audi's ultimate expression of performance, a mid-engine masterpiece that blended supercar drama with everyday usability. Now, in 2026, the R8 enters what might be its most defining moment yet. This generation has been re-engineered from the ground up to deliver the most advanced driving experience in the car's history, one that merges raw performance with cutting-edge technology. Audi didn't just tweak the formula, they've refined it. The question is, how much of that R8 soul remains? Visually, the 2026 R8 is unmistakably Audi, minimalist, clean, and muscular all at once. The signature single-frame grille now sits lower and wider, flanked by razor-sharp matrix LED headlights that seem to stare through you. The body lines are sculpted like wind tunnels themselves designed them. Air inlets and outlets have been reshaped for better cooling and aerodynamics, and the rear diffuser looks like it came straight off a Le Mans prototype. Everything about it screams precision, not flamboyance, not excess, but pure, functional beauty. It's a car that doesn't need to shout to be noticed. Step inside, and the transformation continues. The cabin feels like a luxury cockpit rather than a stripped-down supercar. Audi's virtual cockpit returns, but now it's sharper, faster, and more customizable than ever. The minimalist dashboard layout draws your attention to what matters most: the drive. You're surrounded by Nappa leather, carbon fiber, and aluminum, all crafted with the kind of quality Audi is famous for. The seats are supportive, yet surprisingly comfortable, making long drives feel like part of the fun. Not the price you pay for performance. But what really defines the new R8 is what sits behind you. That masterpiece of an engine. The 5.2-liter naturally aspirated V10 remains at the heart of this car, but it's been tuned to its most potent form yet, delivering up to 620 horsepower and 427 pound-feet of torque. Power goes to all 4 wheels through Audi's refined Quattro system, and a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission that shifts with surgical precision. 0 to 60 happens in just about 3 seconds flat, but the numbers only tell half the story. The way it delivers power, the sound, the feel, the immediacy, it's an experience that's becoming increasingly rare. On the road, the R8 feels alive. The steering is razor-sharp, the chassis beautifully balanced, and the car feels glued to the asphalt. You sense every texture of the road through the steering wheel, yet the car never feels twitchy or nervous. The adaptive suspension adjusts seamlessly between comfort and aggression, allowing you to go from smooth highway cruiser to corner carving monster at the press of a button. And that sound. The V10 doesn't just rev, it sings. Above 5,000 RPM, it transforms from a growl to a scream that echoes through the cabin and into your bones. It's mechanical, emotional, and utterly intoxicating. You can't help but smile every time you push it just a little harder. Performance aside, the R8 also shines as a daily driver, something very few supercars can claim. The visibility is excellent for its class, the ride comfort is genuinely livable, and the cabin tech, from wireless CarPlay to Audi's MMI navigation, makes it just as smart as it is fast. You could genuinely drive this car every day and never feel like you're sacrificing anything except anonymity. But there's more depth here than raw stats. What makes the 2026 R8 so special is its personality. It's not a car that overwhelms you with power or demands fear. It invites you to master it. Every system feels like it's working with you, not against you. The Quattro system gives you endless grip, but when you want to push your luck, it lets the tail breathe just enough to make you feel like a hero. The brakes are phenomenal, strong, consistent, and confidence-inspiring. It's a car that rewards skill, but forgives mistakes, and that's what makes it unique. The R8 isn't trying to be the fastest supercar in the world, it's trying to be the best to drive. It's that sweet spot between precision and emotion that so few cars ever find. Still, the R8 isn't without flaws. The price is steep, north of $180,000. And with that, it's brushing shoulders with some serious rivals like the Porsche 911 Turbo S and McLaren Artura. The infotainment system, while improved, still lacks the flair of newer EV interiors. And yes, the elephant in the room, fuel economy. A V10 is thirsty and Audi knows it. But in a world filled with synthetic sounds and silence, this car's appetite almost feels like a badge of honor. Take it out on a winding mountain road, and you'll understand why enthusiasts still adore this machine. The balance, the grip, the sound. It's addictive. The R8 doesn't just drive fast. It makes you feel fast. It reminds you that performance isn't just measured in numbers. It's measured in moments. The moment you downshift into a tight corner. The moment the exhaust crackles as you lift off the throttle. The moment you glance in the mirror and realize you're grinning like a kid again. This car captures something that's becoming endangered. Connection. Every gear change, every steering input, every sound from that V10 makes you feel part of the process. It's you and the machine working together in perfect sync. And in a time when many supercars feel more like computers than cars, that connection is priceless. So, what's the verdict on the 2026 Audi R8? Simply put, it's one of the finest balanced performance cars ever built. Not just because it's fast, but because it's pure. It's that rare machine that can thrill you on a racetrack and comfort you on the ride home. It's elegant, it's savage, and it's deeply emotional in a way only an R8 can be. The pros? A glorious V10 that still defines what a supercar should sound like. A chassis that blends German engineering with soul. Tech that enhances rather than overwhelms. And a design that will age gracefully long after trends fade away. The cons? Sure, it's expensive, it's not the greenest choice, and the next generation might replace gasoline with electrons. But that's exactly why this version feels so special. It's the last chapter written in fire before the digital ink takes over. So who is this car for? It's for the dreamers. The ones who still get chills from a cold start. The ones who believe driving should be an experience, not a task. It's for anyone who believes cars can still make us feel something. Because that's what the R8 is about. It's not just transportation. It's transformation. In a world racing toward autonomy and electrification, the 2026 Audi R8 stands as a reminder that passion and technology can coexist, that progress doesn't have to mean losing soul. This isn't the end of an era. It's a celebration of everything that made that era unforgettable. So tell me, what do you think? Has Audi created the ultimate evolution of the R8, or is it time to embrace the electric future? Let me know down in the comments. I read every one of them. And if this video made you feel even a fraction of what this car delivers, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and join our community of car lovers who believe that driving is still an art worth celebrating. Because if cars like the R8 still exist, then the road still has meaning. Some cars are built to impress, others to perform. But the 2026 Bentley Continental GTC Mulliner? It's crafted to move your soul. This isn't just a convertible grand tourer. It's a living, breathing symbol of timeless craftsmanship. The kind of car that doesn't shout for attention. It earns silence, respect, and awe the moment it arrives. You don't see it on the road often, but when you do, it feels like the world slows down to admire. This is the Mulliner edition, the absolute pinnacle of Bentley's artistry. Every inch, every seam, every surface whispers a story of dedication. Mulliner isn't just a trim or a badge. It's the heart of Bentley's legacy, tracing its roots back centuries to a time when cars were built like fine jewelry, not factory products. And now, in 2026, that legacy feels more alive than ever. Let's begin where first impressions matter most, the exterior. The Continental GTC Mulliner is more sculpture than automobile. It's commanding yet graceful, with proportions that balance elegance and strength in a way only Bentley can. The front grille, finished in polished chrome and diamond knurled detailing, gleams like a crown, giving the car a royal presence. The new crystal-cut LED headlights are mesmerizing, each one a work of precision, reflecting light in fractal patterns like gemstones. From the side, the bodyline flows in one continuous, uninterrupted motion. From the bold front haunches, over the sweeping doors, to the muscular rear hips. It's motion, frozen in time. The Mulliner exclusive 22-inch polished wheels, with self-leveling Bentley badges, add just the right amount of confidence. They don't spin, they glide. And then, the moment every Grand Tourer owner dreams of, the roof transformation. In just 19 seconds, with a soft whisper, the handcrafted fabric roof folds away neatly into the rear compartment, revealing the car's majestic open-air form. Bentley offers 7 different roof finishes, each customizable to your color palette. And somehow, every single one looks like it belongs in Monaco. When that roof folds down, the car doesn't just open up to the sky, it opens up an entirely different personality. With the top up, it's stately. With the top down, it's pure emotion. But the real magic happens when you open the door, because stepping inside the GTC Mulliner isn't just entering a cabin, it's entering another dimension of design. Bentley calls it a sanctuary on wheels, and they're not exaggerating. The moment you sink into those hand-stitched diamond-quilted seats, you realize this isn't a car interior, it's a handcrafted masterpiece. The seats are wrapped in the finest Napa leather sourced from small, sustainable farms in Northern Europe, chosen specifically for their blemish-free grain. Each diamond quilting pattern takes 400,000 individual stitches to complete. That's not a typo, 400,000. Each one placed by artisans who treat leather the way a sculptor treats marble. Look closer, and you'll see Mulliner embroidery on the headrests, done with contrast stitching that matches your bespoke color palette. Even the door panels feature a unique 3-color split design, combining leather, chrome, and handcrafted wood veneers in a symphony of materials. And the attention to detail? Every knurled metal dial, every polished chrome vent, every Mulliner badge feels perfectly weighted, perfectly balanced. Then there's the dashboard, one of the most captivating interiors ever created. The centerpiece is the Bentley rotating display, a marvel of modern engineering. At the press of a button, the 12.3-inch touchscreen flips away to reveal 3 traditional analog gauges: outside temperature, compass, and chronometer. And when you're in the mood for purity, it rotates again, hiding both displays behind a single piece of mirror-matched veneer. It's minimalism at its most elegant, technology that knows when to disappear. The cabin lighting adjusts automatically, with the time of day, warmer at sunset, cooler at dawn, to create the perfect atmosphere. The audio system? A 20-speaker, 2,200-watt Naim for Bentley's sound experience that fills the car with crystal-clear sound, even at highway speeds with the roof down. Every note feels alive. Every chord vibrates through the seats and into your chest. It's not a sound system, it's a concert hall on wheels. Now let's talk about performance, because under all that elegance lies serious power. The 2026 Bentley Continental GTC Mulliner comes equipped with a 4.0-litre twin-turbocharged V8 that produces 542 horsepower and 568 lb-ft of torque. That's enough to take this 5,000-pound masterpiece from 0 to 60 in just over 4 seconds. But it's not about the numbers, it's about how it delivers them. The power builds like a rising wave, smooth, strong, effortless. You don't feel it punching forward. You feel it lifting you, like the moment a plane leaves the runway. The 8-speed dual-clutch transmission shifts with surgical precision, and the all-wheel drive system reads the road with uncanny intuition. Whether you're cruising through Beverly Hills or gliding down Highway 1 at sunset, The GTC stays planted, graceful, and completely in control. And Bentley's 48-volt active anti-roll system ensures every turn feels balanced, every surface feels smooth. The ride quality? There's nothing like it. Bentley's adaptive air suspension constantly scans the road and adjusts each wheel individually, creating what feels less like driving and more like floating. The steering is light but accurate, giving you that perfect mix of comfort and confidence. And yet, for all its power and precision, this car doesn't make you want to drive fast. It makes you want to drive forever, because that's what true grand touring is. Not racing against time, but savoring it. As the miles roll by, the V8 hums gently in the background, refined, composed, with just a hint of growl when you press deeper into the throttle. It's the kind of sound that reminds you luxury doesn't have to be silent. It can sing, the thaw. 2026 GTC Mulliner isn't just about traveling, it's about arriving with emotion. When you pull up to a hotel, a restaurant, or even your driveway, the car doesn't scream for attention. It earns admiration with quiet authority. People don't stare because it's loud. They stare because it's beautiful. So who is this car for? It's for the dreamers, the achievers, the ones who've earned their peace and choose to live it in motion. It's for those who don't want the flashiest car on the block. They want the finest. The ones who understand that luxury is confidence without arrogance. Of course, a masterpiece like this doesn't come cheap. Prices start around $320,000, but each Mulliner is built to order, meaning your car is uniquely yours, down to the last stitch and veneer grain. It's not a car you buy off the lot. It's a car you commission. And that's the thing about Bentley. It's not just selling a product, it's offering a legacy. A promise that every time you sit behind that wheel, you're not just driving, you're participating in over a century of craftsmanship and excellence. Because when you look at this car, really look at it, you realize something profound. This is what happens when human hands, passion, and precision come together with no compromise. The 2026 Bentley Continental GTC Mulliner isn't chasing trends. It's creating its own timeless lane. And that's why this car is so special. Because in a world obsessed with screens, silence, and self-driving tech, Bentley still believes in touch, in feel, in emotion. So if you believe that cars can still be works of art, if you think driving should still be an experience, not just an act, then you're in the right place. Hit that like button, subscribe, and join this channel's growing family of car enthusiasts who understand that true automotive beauty isn't just about performance, it's about presence. Because cars like the 2026 Bentley Continental GTC Mulliner don't just exist, they define eras. And one day, when roads are filled with silent machines and automated journeys, we'll look back and say, that was when luxury had a soul. The 2026 Mustang GT isn't just another update, it's a declaration. A loud, unapologetic message from Ford that the age of American muscle isn't ready to fade quietly into the past. While the rest of the industry rushes towards silence and electrification, Ford is doubling down on what made drivers fall in love with cars in the first place: sound, speed, and soul. This new GT doesn't whisper performance, it shouts it. From its menacing stance to its roaring 5.0-liter heart, this car promises to bring back the raw emotion that so many modern vehicles have lost. But here's the real question: has Ford truly built the best Mustang ever, or has it traded nostalgia for novelty? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might see the Mustang in a whole new light. For nearly 60 years, the Mustang has stood as a symbol of rebellion, a car for those who didn't just want to drive, but to feel something every time they turned the key. But today's automotive world is changing fast. Electric cars are taking over, efficiency rules the headlines, and the roar of a V8 is becoming a rare sound. So the 2026 Mustang GT arrives at a critical moment, a chance for Ford to prove that emotion still matters in a digital world. And Ford didn't come to play it safe. The design is bolder, the performance is sharper, and the tech inside would make even a Tesla blush. This isn't just another muscle car refresh. It's a reinvention of what a modern performance car can be without forgetting its roots. It's not about chasing trends. It's about setting a new standard for passion on four wheels. The first time you lay eyes on it, you'll notice this car commands presence. The front fascia is lower and wider. The LED tri-bar headlights give it an unmistakable glare, and the sculpted hood lines make it look like it's ready to pounce even when it's standing still. The rear is pure Mustang DNA. Fastback lines, quad exhausts, and that iconic pony badge sitting proudly at the center. This design doesn't just turn heads, it twists necks. Slide inside and the transformation continues. Gone are the basic plastics and cramped layout of older generations. Now you're greeted by a digital cockpit that feels equal parts fighter jet and gaming rig. Two massive screens, a 13.2-inch central display and a 12.4-inch digital cluster, flow together seamlessly, powered by Ford's new Sync 5 system. Everything is customizable, from the gauge layout to the exhaust tone. You can literally shape how your Mustang behaves and sounds. Ambient lighting wraps around the cabin. Recaro sport seats hold you tight in every corner, and every touch point finally feels premium. It's not just a car. It's an experience built around the driver. And under that sculpted hood, the legend continues. Ford's 5.0 litre Coyote V8 has been reworked yet again, now pushing around 500 horsepower. The most powerful naturally aspirated Mustang GT ever. The dual air intake system lets it breathe deeper. The throttle feels razor sharp. And when you hit those higher revs, that sound is pure automotive music. You can go with the 10-speed automatic for precision or the 6-speed manual if you crave that classic hands-on connection. Either way, this engine doesn't just move the car, it moves you. On the road, the transformation is undeniable. The steering is more direct, the chassis feels tighter, and the new MagnaRide suspension balances comfort and control like never before. In normal mode, it's civil, something you could daily drive without hating traffic. But switch to track mode, and everything sharpens. Throttle response, steering weight, exhaust tone. Suddenly, you're piloting a beast that feels alive under your hands. Every corner, every shift, every sound. It's addicting, and Ford didn't stop with performance. They've packed in clever tech too, from track apps that record your lap times to a new electronic drift brake that lets you slide the car like a pro. There's even a suite of safety tech that keeps things calm when you're not chasing adrenaline. Adaptive cruise, lane keeping, and collision assist. This Mustang can rage 1 minute and relax the next. But of course, no car is perfect. The GT is still heavy. You can feel it when you push it hard through tight turns. Fuel economy is far from impressive, and with a starting price hovering around $50,000, it's entering a premium territory where European rivals start to look tempting. Yet none of those cars offer what this does, personality. The Mustang GT connects with its driver in a way few cars today can. It's imperfect in the best way possible. Mechanical, visceral, alive. Out on the open road, the magic really hits you. You drop a gear, the V8 snarls, and suddenly it's not about numbers anymore. It's about emotion. The sound bounces off walls. The rear tires bite into the asphalt, and for a few brief seconds you forget about EVs, traffic, and the future. It's just you, the car, and that unmistakable soundtrack that no speaker can replicate. That's what the Mustang GT delivers. Feeling. It's not just about speed, it's about connection. And that's something no touchscreen or software update can replace. So, what's the verdict? The 2026 Mustang GT isn't trying to be something it's not. It's bold, it's loud, it's unapologetically old school. And yet it's smarter, sleeker, and more refined than ever. It's a bridge between eras, a car that proves the soul of the Mustang can thrive in a tech-driven world. The pros. A monstrous 500 horsepower V8, stunning design, tech that finally feels modern, and that irreplaceable sound. The cons? Weight, fuel thirst, and a price tag that's starting to flirt with luxury territory. But here's the truth. No one buys a Mustang GT to save money or gas. They buy it to feel alive. This car is for the driver who still looks forward to taking the long way home. For the person who believes cars should make you smile, not just move you from point A to B. It's for the believers, the ones who hear a V8 rumble and feel something deep in their chest. In a world that's becoming quieter, this car reminds us why we fell in love with driving in the first place. Whether it's the last of its kind or the start of a new chapter, the 2026 Mustang GT stands as a symbol. That emotion still has horsepower. So here's my challenge to you. What do you think? Has Ford struck the perfect balance between modern innovation and classic soul? Or should the Mustang evolve even further? Let me know in the comments below. And if this review made you feel something, even a spark of that old school excitement, show some love. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and join our community of true car enthusiasts. Because if cars like this still exist, then we still have something worth driving for. For decades, three simple letters carried the sound of American thunder, G. Three checks, they stood for dominance, attitude, and raw mechanical soul. But as time passed, that roar faded, buried under electric silence and digital precision. Until now, the 2026 Plymouth GTX is back, and it's rewriting everything we thought we knew about modern muscle. This isn't just another revival, it's a resurrection, a time machine with tires. But here's the question that's dividing enthusiasts everywhere. Has Plymouth truly brought back the soul of American muscle? Or have they just built a museum piece dressed in modern carbon fiber? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll have your answer. And maybe a little piece of that American fire back in your heart. Let's rewind the clock for a second. The original Plymouth GTX wasn't just a car, it was a declaration of power. A muscle car for people who wanted both style and savagery. Built to rule the streets and drag strips of the late 60s. When you saw a GTX back then, you didn't just look, you moved out of the way, but the story didn't have a happy ending. As emissions tightened and fuel prices climbed, the GTX, like many legends, disappeared. The brand itself faded from American roads, leaving behind only nostalgia, rusted classics, and stories from the golden era of horsepower. Fast forward to 2026, out of nowhere. Plymouth rises again under the Stellantis Group. Their mission? Not to copy history, but to revive emotion. The all-new GTX is their flag in the ground, their statement that raw power, noise, and passion still belong in the modern world. This car is aimed directly at those who grew up dreaming of muscle, those who crave that visceral connection between throttle and heartbeat. It's not here to compete with quiet EVs, it's here to remind America what driving used to feel like. And from the first glance, it's clear. Plymouth didn't just bring back the badge. They brought back the attitude, the stance, the rebellion, the emotion that once made us fall in love with cars in the first place. But can it truly deliver on that promise? Let's find out. The moment your eyes land on the 2026 GTX, you understand why people are calling it Detroit's comeback call. It's low, wide, and angry. Like it's been waiting decades to show the world it's still got fight left. The front fascia is pure aggression, a retro-inspired grille that channels the '69 icon, now framed by laser-cut LED blades that pierce through the night. The hood is sculpted with functional vents that pulse heat like a living thing. Every panel screams purpose. No fake vents, no gimmicks, just steel and soul. Move along the side and you'll notice the proportions are perfect. Broad shoulders, muscular arches, and that classic fastback line that melts into a short, clean rear deck. The GTX sits confidently on 20-inch forged alloys wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport rubber, every curve whispering speed even at a standstill. At the back, the story continues. Quad exhausts growl from a diffuser carved bumper, while the LED taillights pay tribute to the original square design. A modern muscle machine with a heartbeat older than most of us watching. Step inside and things get emotional. Plymouth knew this wasn't about flooding the cabin with screens. It was about balance. Leather and Alcantara wrap around you. The stitching matches the body color. The gauge cluster can morph from retro analog dials to full digital telemetry. Every click, every button has weight, sound, and feel. Then comes the star of the show, the engine. Under that vented hood lies the Hemistorm 6.4-liter V8, pushing out 505 horsepower of naturally aspirated fury. No turbos, no gimmicks, just raw displacement, precision fuel mapping, and a soundtrack that hits your chest like a live concert. You rode to 60 in around 3.8 seconds, a quarter mile in the low 12s. But numbers only tell half the story. Because when you floor it, you don't just hear the GTX, you feel it. The cabin vibrates, the tires claw, and your pulse syncs with the engine note. It's more civilized than its ancestors. Adaptive dampers, multi-mode steering, and a finely tuned suspension make it corner like a car half its weight. You can cruise in comfort or switch to track mode and feel the car tighten like a coiled muscle ready to strike. The infotainment is crisp and intuitive, but you barely notice it. Because here the focus isn't on menus, it's on memories. Every throttle press, every downshift reminds you this machine was built for the driver, not the algorithm. And just when you think you've seen everything, Plymouth hits you with a twist, a rumored manual transmission package in development. Because they know real drivers still want to shift their own destiny. Still, one question remains. Can it truly hold its own against today's muscle monsters and electric titans? Hold that thought, because this is where the GTX shows its true character. Out on the open track, the 2026 Plymouth GTX transforms from a machine into a message. You start the engine, and the world around you fades. The exhaust cracks like thunder on a summer night, echoing against the grandstands. The Hemi-Storm V8 roars to life, ready to prove it still belongs in this world of silence. Hit the gas, and the tires bite hard. 0-60 flashes by in under 4 seconds. The gearbox snaps through gears with confidence. And the car's body feels perfectly balanced. Old muscle attitude wrapped in modern control. As you exit the corner, the back end twitches, then bites down, perfectly planted. There's no electronic drama, no artificial feeling. It's mechanical, organic, real. And that's the magic of the new GTX. It doesn't just perform, it connects. It lets you feel the road, the tension, the grip, the story unfolding beneath you. But the real surprise isn't the speed. It's how mature this car feels. Gone is the clumsy oversteer of old-school muscle. In its place, precision, almost European handling finesse. Without losing that American fire, the GTX holds its own against today's legends. Mustang Dark Horse, Camaro ZL1, Challenger Hellcat, and in some ways, surpasses them. It's smoother, more balanced, and shockingly comfortable for daily use. And then, there's the sound. That soundtrack of rebellion, the kind that sends chills down your spine. The kind that reminds you why you fell in love with cars to begin with. So, has Plymouth done it? Have they built a machine that lives up to a name once whispered like mythology? Well, let's just say the legend didn't just return, it evolved. And it's about to make a lot of electric cars feel soulless by comparison. So here we are, the end of the road, and maybe the beginning of something bigger. The 2026 Plymouth GTX isn't perfect, but maybe that's what makes it special. It drinks fuel like it's 1970 again, it'll probably cost more than most people expect, and it doesn't chase efficiency. But it gives you something almost no car does anymore: emotion. This isn't a car for spreadsheets or specs. It's a car for people who still turn around to look at their ride before walking away. For those who remember the feeling of a cold morning start, the rumble beneath the seat, the echo through the streets. The pros? Power that feels alive. A design that commands respect. A cabin that blends nostalgia and innovation beautifully. The cons? Sure, fuel economy, limited rear space, maybe a price that'll make your wallet twitch. But if you've ever loved cars for the way they make you feel, none of that matters. In a world moving towards silence and screens, the GTX stands as a heartbeat, a defiant reminder that cars are supposed to stir your soul. And that's why, at the end of this review, I'll say this: the GTX doesn't just bring back an icon. It brings back the emotion of driving, the pride, the excitement, the reason we fell in love with engines, not apps. So now it's your turn. What do you think? Is the 2026 GTX the true return of American muscle, or just one last roar before the electric era takes over? Drop your thoughts below. I read every comment personally. And if you felt even a spark of that old school passion while watching this, don't just click away. Hit that like button, subscribe, and join this community of car lovers who still believe driving should feel something. Because as long as people like you keep watching, sharing, and dreaming, the roar of cars like the GTX will never fade. There are cars that make history, and then there are cars that become history. The 2026 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am isn't just another modern performance car. It's the rebirth of an American myth. A phoenix rising not from the ashes of failure, but from 2 decades of silence, roaring back to reclaim its throne. For years, the Firebird name was nothing more than a memory, a poster fading on garage walls, a sound that lived only in car shows and old movies. But now that memory has been reborn in flesh, metal, and fire. And it's not here to look back. It's here to burn forward. Hook. The legend ignites. Again, you press the ignition, and the world holds its breath. The new Firebird doesn't just start, it erupts. A deep, raspy growl fills the air, the kind of sound that feels almost outlawed in today's quiet, electric world. The hood scoops tremble, the Phoenix logo glows faintly under the garage lights. And for a second, it's 1977 all over again. But this isn't your father's Trans Am. This is the 2026 rebirth, carbon fiber panels, adaptive suspension, 700+ horsepower, and a mission to prove that muscle cars can still dominate in a digital age. So buckle in, because this isn't just a car review. It's a story of fire, fury, and redemption. Introduction. The resurrection of a legend. For nearly 20 years, the Pontiac Firebird has lived in whispers, its spirit kept alive by collectors, fans and dreamers who refuse to let it die. When GM pulled the plug on Pontiac back in 2010, the Firebird's fate seemed sealed forever. But some legends are too powerful to stay buried. Fast forward to 2026, and a small, passionate team of designers and engineers, many of whom grew up obsessed with the original, decided to bring it back. Backed by GM's latest performance platform, they didn't just recreate history, they reinvented it. The result? A car that looks like it was forged from nostalgia and forged for war. The 2026 Firebird Trans Am wears its legacy proudly. That classic long hood, that split grille, those bold, flared fenders. But every line, every curve, every vent is sharper, smarter, and more aggressive. This isn't a copy, it's evolution, the kind that gives goosebumps. Rising action, power, presence, and purpose. Under the hood lies the heart of the beast. A 6.2-liter supercharged V8 producing 740 horsepower and 690 lb-ft of torque. It's mated to either an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic or, for the diehards, a proper 6-speed manual. Because no reborn legend should forget its roots. And when you hit the gas, it's not instant torque like an EV. It's a build-up, a surge, a violent wave that pins you back in your seat. It's mechanical, raw, alive, like the car itself is daring you to push harder. The suspension has been completely reworked, adaptive magneto-rheological dampers that adjust hundreds of times per second. On smooth highways, it's buttery, comfortable, refined. But switch to track mode, and it stiffens, sharpens, and crouches low, like a predator waiting to pounce. The design? A perfect blend of classic attitude and modern aggression. The hood scoops breathe real air. The LED headlights mimic the fiery eyes of the original. And that iconic screaming chicken logo, now backlit in amber, stretches across a carbon fiber hood that looks like it's carved from molten metal. Inside, you're greeted by a cockpit that feels equal parts retro and futuristic. There's leather, the real kind, aluminum switchgear with tactile clicks, a digital cluster framed in brushed metal that animates into a glowing phoenix when you start it up. The center console isn't cluttered with distractions, it's driver-focused, intuitive, and built for connection. The seats hug you just tight enough to remind you this isn't a luxury cruiser. It's a machine built for performance, but refined enough to make you forget you're sitting on 740 horsepower. And the sound system? Forget that. The real soundtrack comes from the exhaust. Every rev, every downshift, every pop and crackle feels like a pulse, reminding you that you're driving something truly alive. Climax, the drive that changes everything. Now picture this. It's dawn. The air is crisp, and the sky is painted orange and gold. You're sitting at the base of a mountain pass with one goal. Let the Firebird spread its wings. You tap the throttle. The V8 bellows. The car launches, and suddenly the world becomes a blur of sound and wind. The grip from the performance tires holds tight as you carve through turns that would make lesser cars squirm. The steering feels beautifully analog, weighty, communicative, and alive. Every corner becomes a conversation between you and the car. The Firebird doesn't just respond, it anticipates. It's like it knows where you're going before you even turn the wheel. Then you hit a long straight. The speed climbs, 60, 80, 100, and the horizon rushes toward you like a wave. But the car feels steady, solid, unshakable. The exhaust screams, the supercharger whines, and for that fleeting moment, you feel something most modern cars have forgotten how to deliver: freedom. This is where emotion meets engineering, where the Firebird stops being a car and becomes a feeling. It's the thrill of the open road, the defiance of time, the celebration of noise in a world that's gone quiet. Falling action, the balance of old and new. But here's the part that truly surprises you. When you slow down, when you leave the canyons and return to the city, the Trans Am doesn't lose its magic. It just transforms. In comfort mode, the ride is composed, even gentle. The cabin quiets down, the engine softens its tone, and suddenly this wild, rebellious machine feels like a grand tourer. The leather interior cocoons you, the ambient lighting glows warm, and you realize this isn't just a weekend toy. It's a daily companion, if you're brave enough to handle it. And that's what makes the new Firebird special. It doesn't just chase nostalgia, it builds a bridge between generations, between raw passion and refined engineering, between memory and motion, resolution and impact, the verdict. So here's the truth. The 2026 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am isn't trying to compete with supercars or electric hypermachines. It's here to remind the world what soul feels like. It's loud, it's raw, it's imperfect, and that's what makes it perfect. This car is for the believers, the ones who never stopped hoping Pontiac would rise again. For those who want more than just horsepower, they want heritage, for the generation that grew up loving cars, and for the new one discovering what passion sounds like in 2026. Starting around $110,000, the new Firebird isn't cheap. But you're not buying specs, you're buying spirit. You're buying the feeling of being part of something bigger, a revival of American muscle that refuses to be silenced. And that's what this car stands for: rebellion, emotion, and the refusal to fade quietly. If you've ever looked at a car and felt your pulse race, this is your moment. If you still believe legends deserve to live, hit that like button. And if you want to join a community that celebrates real driving, real sound, and real passion, subscribe, because we're keeping the fire alive, one legend at a time. The 2026 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, it's not just back. It's immortal, and every time it roars, it reminds us the fire never really died. It was just waiting. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Car Review, where we dive deep into the most exciting machines shaping the future of driving. And today, Ford just did something nobody saw coming. The legendary Galaxy 500 nameplate is back for 2026, that's right. One of Ford's most iconic muscle cars from the golden era of the 60s has been reborn. But this isn't just a nostalgia play. Ford has built what might be the perfect modern muscle car, blending retro design cues with cutting-edge performance. Let's break it down. The first thing you notice is the design, because Ford nailed the balance between classic and modern. The front end features a bold horizontal grille inspired by the original Galaxy, flanked by slim LED headlights with a throwback circular signature lighting element. The hood is long, sculpted, and carries subtle power bulges that hint at what's underneath. From the side, you get a true fastback profile, long roofline, muscular rear haunches, and 20-inch staggered wheels that fill the arches perfectly. Around back, the taillights are a direct nod to the 60s, with triple round LEDs that look futuristic, yet unmistakably retro. Ford even brought back the Galaxy script badging, tying the whole design together. Step inside, and you'll see, this is no stripped-down muscle car. The cabin is a driver's dream. Premium leather and Alcantara wrap the seats, dash, and doors, while brushed aluminum and carbon fiber accents give it a performance edge. The centerpiece is a massive curved digital display that stretches across the dash. Combining a 14-inch digital gauge cluster with a 15-inch infotainment system running Ford's latest Sync 6, you get wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, 5G connectivity, and even AI-powered voice control. And for audiophiles, Ford partnered with Bang & Olufsen to create a 20-speaker surround system that makes this muscle car sound like a concert hall. But let's be real. You don't bring back the Galaxy name unless you've got the muscle to back it up. And Ford absolutely delivers. Under the hood, the 2026 Galaxy 500 packs a 5.2-liter supercharged V8, putting out a jaw-dropping 720 horsepower and 690 pound-feet of torque. That makes it one of the most powerful muscle cars Ford has ever built. 0 to 60 comes in just 3.3 seconds, and top speed? Over 200 miles per hour with the performance package. Power is sent through a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission with rear-wheel drive standard. For those who want ultimate control, Ford also offers a 6-speed manual option, a rare gift in today's market. The chassis is equally impressive. Adaptive magnetic dampers, electronic limited-slip differential, and massive Brembo carbon ceramic brakes make sure this beast handles just as well as it accelerates. Driving modes let you switch from comfortable cruiser to track monster at the push of a button. And with launch control, line lock, and drag strip timers, the Galaxy 500 is more than ready to dominate both the street and the strip. On the road, early impressions say it feels raw, emotional, and alive. Everything a muscle car should be, but with the refinement of a modern GT. It's the kind of car that makes every drive an event. Safety and driver assistance are fully loaded, with adaptive cruise, blind spot monitoring, lane keeping assist, and a 360-degree camera system. But Ford knows enthusiasts don't want electronics interfering, so most of these systems can be dialed back or switched off completely. Now for the price. The 2026 Ford Galaxy 500 starts at around $75,000, with high-performance trims pushing closer to $95,000. That positions it right against the Dodge Challenger SRT Demon 170, Chevy Camaro ZL1, and even the BMW M4 competition. But with its retro appeal, modern tech, and monstrous performance, the Galaxy 500 might just outshine them all. So here's the bottom line. The 2026 Ford Galaxy 500 isn't just a revival. It's a celebration of muscle car history, re-engineered for a new era. It's fast, it's loud, it's stylish, and it proves that Ford still knows how to make a car that stirs the soul. What do you think? Did Ford just build the perfect modern muscle car? Or is it too much nostalgia in a modern world? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this first look, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss our next deep dive. Thanks for watching The Car Review. Until next time, drive safe, drive fast, and always drive something that excites you. Imagine this. One of Dodge's most iconic names from the past, suddenly roaring back to life in 2026. Not as an overpriced collector's car, not as a limited edition toy, but as something you could actually afford to drive. That's exactly what Dodge has done with the all-new Dart Swinger. It's bold, it's different, and it promises to put muscle car thrills back within reach for everyday drivers. But here's the twist. Does the Dart Swinger carry enough firepower to deserve its legendary badge, or is Dodge just cashing in on nostalgia? Let's find out. For decades, Dodge has been the brand that built its reputation on attitude. From the Charger and Challenger to the Viper, they've always leaned into power, style, and a little bit of rebellion. But the Dart, that was the car that proved you didn't need a massive paycheck to enjoy the Dodge spirit. Affordable, compact, but with enough muscle to keep things fun, it was the gateway to Dodge performance for thousands of drivers. Now, in 2026, the Dart Swinger returns. And it's not a coincidence. The US market is at a crossroads. Sports cars are shrinking in numbers, SUVs dominate sales charts, and affordable performance feels like a dying breed. Dodge believes there's still a place for a car that mixes style, speed, and value. The question is, can the Dart Swinger carve out that space? Or will it just get lost in a market obsessed with bigger, pricier machines? Stick with me, because in the next few minutes, we'll explore whether this car is truly the rebirth of affordable muscle, or just another chapter in Dodge's long playbook of nostalgia. Let's start with the looks, because Dodge clearly wanted the Dart Swinger to make a statement. The design pulls from classic cues without turning into a full retro throwback. The front grille has a strong, squared-off look, flanked by modern LED signatures that make it instantly recognizable at night. The profile is compact, tight, and muscular, like it's always ready to spring forward. And those rear haunches? They scream Dodge performance DNA, even if the proportions are slimmer than the big-bodied Charger. Step inside, and you'll notice Dodge's balancing act. Affordability, with just enough tech to feel modern. A crisp digital cluster, a clean infotainment screen with wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, and materials that are more durable than plush. This isn't meant to impress luxury buyers. It's meant to connect with drivers who care about the road. The layout is straightforward, the seats are supportive, and everything feels designed around the driver, not the passengers. Sure, the back row is snug, but this isn't meant to be a family hauler. It's about getting behind the wheel and enjoying the drive. And speaking of driving, this is where things start heating up. Dodge is offering two engine options, a turbo 4-cylinder and a naturally aspirated V6. The 4-cylinder is efficient, delivering solid mileage without feeling sluggish, while the V6 brings the attitude. Fire it up, and you get that throaty growl Dodge fans love, paired with acceleration that's more than enough to satisfy the muscle itch. We're not talking Hellcat numbers here, but we're also not talking Hellcat prices. It's about accessible fun, and that's where the Swinger nails its purpose. Handling is another surprise. Thanks to a lighter body and tuned suspension, the Dart Swinger feels far more agile than its old-school counterparts. It grips in corners, it responds quickly to steering inputs, and it doesn't punish you on rough roads. Think of it less like a brute force muscle car and more like a fun, affordable performance coupe with real personality. That shift alone could make it appealing to a whole new generation of drivers who've never owned a Dodge before. Still, the compromises are clear. Tight rear space, a trunk that's good but not great, and the lack of a V8 will definitely disappoint purists. Dodge knows this, but what they're betting on is that younger buyers will care less about bragging rights and more about balance. A car that's stylish, fast enough, and, most importantly, within budget. And the budget is exactly where the story takes its biggest turn. Take it out on the road, and the Dart Swinger shows its true colors. Around town, the Turbo 4 feels eager and smooth, but it's the V6 that really puts on a show. Drop the pedal and it jumps forward with the kind of urgency you don't expect in this price range. The sound, the responsiveness, the way it hugs the pavement through corners. It doesn't feel like an economy car dressed up in muscle clothing. It feels alive, and that's something Dodge has struggled to deliver in recent years outside its big-ticket models. And then comes the jaw-drop moment, the price reveal. While competitors in the sporty compact and entry performance category are creeping toward luxury car money, Dodge has planted the Dart Swinger squarely in the attainable bracket. You're looking at real performance and bold design for thousands less than you'd spend on a Mustang or Camaro, and way less than most modern performance EVs. It's a play that could shake up the market, or fall flat if buyers don't buy into Dodge's new direction. This is the turning point. The Dart Swinger isn't trying to be the fastest or the flashiest. It's trying to prove that muscle car spirit doesn't have to die in the age of overpriced performance. The real question is, will buyers see it as a rebirth or as a watered-down memory of what muscle once was? So here's the bottom line. The 2026 Dodge Dart Swinger is not the perfect muscle car. It won't win drag strips, it won't blow your doors off with horsepower, and it won't convince purists who think V8s are the only way forward. But what it does offer is something far rarer in today's market, a performance car that's actually within reach for everyday Americans. For first-time buyers, younger drivers, or anyone who just wants a fun daily driver with Dodge attitude, the Swinger delivers exactly what it promises, affordable muscle with real character. On the flip side, if you're a die-hard Dodge fan who lives for burnout competitions and quarter-mile times, this isn't the car for you. And Dodge seems fine with that, because the Swinger isn't meant to replace the Charger or Challenger, it's meant to expand the idea of what Dodge performance can be, and maybe that's its biggest impact. At a time when crossovers dominate and affordable performance feels almost extinct, Dodge is sending a message. Driving fun doesn't have to disappear. If the Swinger succeeds, It could push other automakers to rethink how they build entry-level performance cars. If it fails, it'll just be another nostalgic experiment. Either way, it's a bold move, and bold moves are exactly what keep the car world exciting. So, what do you think? Has Dodge just reignited the spark of affordable American muscle, or is this too little, too late? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear if you'd actually buy one of these. And if you enjoyed this review, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into the latest cars, and share this with a fellow gearhead who still believes driving should be fun. Because at the end of the day, cars like the Dart Swinger remind us why we fell in love with muscle in the first place. Every car enthusiast knows the Pontiac GTO, the Firebird, the Trans Am, but how many of you remember the Tempest? Once the quiet underdog of Pontiac's lineup, it was the car that lit the fuse for the muscle car revolution back in the 60s. And now, after decades of silence, the Tempest name is roaring back to life in 2026. But here's the twist. This isn't just a retro throwback. It's a reinvention. The question is, can a forgotten muscle classic really stand tall in today's performance world, or will history repeat itself? The Pontiac Tempest originally launched in the early 1960s as a small, affordable performance sedan. It was scrappy, experimental, and it pushed boundaries in ways that most people forget. Without the Tempest, there might never have been a GTO. But over the years, the name vanished into obscurity, overshadowed by Pontiac's bigger icons, and eventually buried when the Pontiac brand itself was retired. Now, fast forward to 2026, and GM is pulling a bold move, reviving the Tempest name as part of Pontiac's limited rebirth strategy. Instead of chasing luxury EVs or trying to outgun Dodge with pure horsepower, the new Tempest aims to strike a balance: heritage muscle design, modern tech, and a price point that's actually within reach. That's what makes this car so important. In a market where affordable fun cars are dying, Pontiac is betting that nostalgia plus accessibility is the formula car fans have been waiting for. But does the 2026 Tempest live up to that legacy? Let's see what it really brings to the table. From the moment you see it, the new Tempest feels like a revival done right. The bodywork blends sharp modern lines with subtle cues from Pontiac's past. The split grille is back, redesigned with bold LED light signatures. The stance is wide, low, and muscular without looking bloated. Around back, squared taillights and a ducktail spoiler pay tribute to the classic era. But it doesn't look like a retro costume. It looks like a modern car with roots you can actually see. Inside, Pontiac went with a driver-first approach. You won't find a luxury lounge here, but you will find a cockpit that feels focused and fun. A digital gauge cluster puts performance stats front and center. The infotainment screen is wide and responsive, with all the modern connectivity buyers expect. The seats are supportive, with sporty bolstering that hints at weekend fun while still being comfortable enough for daily drives. Hard plastics do appear in some trim levels, but that's how Pontiac keeps costs under control. Performance is where the new Tempest surprises. Pontiac offers two engine choices: a turbocharged 2.0-liter four-cylinder that's efficient yet spirited, and a naturally aspirated 3.6-liter V6 for enthusiasts who want more muscle in their daily commute. The Turbo 4 delivers around 250 horsepower, making it a great choice for budget-conscious buyers, while the V6 pushes closer to 330, giving the Tempest real bite against rivals like the Mustang EcoBoost or Camaro LT1. No, it's not a fire-breathing V8, but it doesn't need to be. This car is about fun and balance, not bragging rights. On the road, the Tempest delivers more than just straight-line speed. Thanks to a lighter chassis and improved suspension tuning, it feels agile and planted. The steering is direct, the cornering is confident, and the car feels alive in your hands. Pontiac didn't just want a drag racer. They wanted something you can toss around on winding back roads and still enjoy on your commute. That's a big part of the Tempest's charm. Of course, compromises exist. The back seats are snug, cargo space is limited, and interior refinement isn't on par with premium brands. But the truth is, this car isn't aiming for perfection. It's aiming for personality, and that's something most affordable cars today don't have. The real moment comes when you push the Tempest to its limits. With the V6, it feels like a proper Pontiac, rev-happy, eager, and playful. It may not match a Dodge Challenger in brute force, but it doesn't need to. The fun comes from the way it engages you. the way it makes every corner feel alive. That's a driving experience that too many modern cars lack. And then comes the price reveal, the true shocker. Starting under $30,000, the new Tempest undercuts most of its direct rivals. Even the V6 version lands well below where muscle and performance cars have drifted in recent years. This is Pontiac's ace, not just performance, but performance you can actually afford. At a time when even entry-level muscle cars are stretching out of reach, the Tempest feels like a lifeline for enthusiasts who thought their options were gone. That's why this isn't just another forgotten nameplate slapped onto a body. This is a turning point, proof that Pontiac hasn't forgotten the drivers who made the brand legendary. So what's the takeaway? The 2026 Pontiac Tempest Reborn is not a perfect car. It doesn't have a V8, it doesn't come with luxury polish, and it won't win every drag race. But it brings something far more important back into the conversation. The idea that muscle-inspired cars can be affordable, approachable, and fun again for new drivers, younger enthusiasts, or anyone who wants a car with attitude that won't empty the bank account. The Tempest could be a dream come true. For hardcore muscle fans who want nothing but maximum horsepower, it won't be enough. But maybe that's exactly what makes the Tempest so significant. It isn't trying to be the biggest, baddest muscle car. It's trying to bring muscle back to the people who miss it most. In the bigger picture, this car might just be Pontiac's boldest move since the GTO. If it succeeds, we could see more forgotten names revived, more accessible performance models hitting the streets, and maybe, just maybe, the beginning of a new golden era for affordable American performance. If it fails, well, at least Pontiac went down swinging, true to its rebellious roots. But here's the real question: would you buy one? Does the Tempest's mix of heritage and modern value hit the sweet spot for you? Or do you think Pontiac should have gone all in with a V8 monster instead? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear your take. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into the latest car launches, and share this video with a fellow gearhead. Because whether you love it or hate it, the Pontiac Tempest's return proves that sometimes the most forgotten legends deserve a second chance. For decades, the Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme was everywhere. It was the car your parents drove, your neighbors showed off. The one that outsold everything else in the 70s and 80s. It was stylish, comfortable, and for many, it was their first taste of what a true American car could be. And then, just like Oldsmobile itself, the name vanished, left behind in the dust of history. But now in 2026, the Cutlass Supreme is back. The big question is, does this all-new version carry the same magic that once made it a legend, or is it just borrowing a famous badge to spark nostalgia? Let's take a closer look. The Oldsmobile brand was once one of America's strongest. It was older than Ford, older than Cadillac, and for a time it defined what innovation and comfort meant in the US auto industry. But by the early 2000s, Oldsmobile faded away, officially discontinued in 2004. For fans, it was the end of an era. And among all its models, the Cutlass Supreme stood out as the crown jewel. It wasn't just a car, it was a cultural phenomenon. From muscle coupes in the late 60s to the sleek, best-selling family cars of the 70s and 80s, the Cutlass Supreme was a household name. So when whispers began about Oldsmobile making a return, many thought it was just a rumor. But here we are. The 2026 Cutlass Supreme has officially been revealed. It carries with it not just the responsibility of being a new car, but the weight of decades of history and expectations. Oldsmobile isn't just launching a car, they're trying to reignite a legacy. From the outside, the all-new Cutlass Supreme manages to strike a careful balance between past and present. It's not a retro caricature, but it's not anonymous modern styling either. The wide front grille takes inspiration from the bold chrome faces of the 70s Supremes, but sharp LED headlights and sculpted details pull it into the modern age. The side profile is sleek, with a long hood, flowing lines, and muscular haunches that give it a confident stance. And at the rear, the wraparound LED taillights echo the iconic design cues that once made the Cutlass instantly recognizable in driveways across America. Step inside, and nostalgia meets modern luxury. The dash design is clean and symmetrical, with digital displays seamlessly blended into a layout that recalls classic Oldsmobile interiors. You'll notice retro-inspired trim touches, brushed aluminum, two-tone leather options, and even small design nods to the 70s models. But make no mistake, this is a fully modern interior. The infotainment system is cutting-edge, the digital cluster is customizable, and comfort is a priority. The seats strike a balance between sporty bolstering and long-distance plushness, just like the original Supremes that were built to cruise. Under the hood, Oldsmobile is offering multiple options to fit today's buyers. The entry-level turbocharged four-cylinder makes the Cutlass accessible, with solid fuel economy and decent performance. A naturally aspirated V6 brings back some of that old-school smoothness and punch, perfect for buyers who want a little more muscle in their daily drive. And the top trim? A performance hybrid V6 setup that delivers over 400 horsepower while still managing efficiency. It's a bold move, one that shows Oldsmobile is willing to adapt heritage into the electrified future, rather than ignoring it. On the road, the Cutlass Supreme feels nothing like the soft, floaty boats of the past. Thanks to a modern chassis and suspension, it feels planted and confident. The steering is sharp, body roll is minimal, and yet the ride quality is comfortable enough to remind you that this is still a Supreme, not a stripped-down sports coupe. It walks the line between luxury cruiser and performance machine, and that balance is exactly what made the original so successful. But here's where things get truly exciting: the drive. Behind the wheel of the hybrid V6, the Cutlass Supreme feels alive in a way few modern cars do. Acceleration is instant, with electric torque filling the gaps while the engine roars to life. Push it into a corner, and it grips confidently, with just enough play to keep things engaging. It doesn't just feel like a car, it feels like an event. The kind of drive that makes you want to take the long way home, just to spend more time with it. And then there's the price reveal. Starting in the mid-$30,000 range, the new Cutlass Supreme is positioned as an attainable car for both nostalgic fans and new buyers. Even the high-performance hybrid comes in well below luxury competitors, making it one of the most accessible heritage-inspired cars on the market. It's stylish, it's powerful, and it doesn't cost six figures, something that can't be said for many modern performance sedans. So, what does the rebirth of the Cutlass Supreme mean? For one, it's proof that forgotten legends don't have to stay forgotten. The 2026 Cutlass Supreme blends the soul of the past with the needs of the present, offering a car that feels familiar yet new. No, it won't please every purist. There's no V8 option, and some will argue it leans too modern. But for the people who just want a car with character, with presence, and with history in its DNA, this could be exactly what the market has been missing. For longtime Oldsmobile fans, it's a chance to see the badge alive again. For younger drivers, it's a chance to step into a car that's more than just transportation. It's a piece of American automotive history brought into the modern day. And for the auto industry, it's a sign that heritage still matters, that storytelling still matters, and that buyers are hungry for cars with meaning, not just specs on paper. The Cutlass Supreme may not be the biggest or the fastest car on the road, but its return is bigger than that. It's symbolic. It's a reminder that cars can be icons, that they can carry memories, and that they can still excite us in an era of SUVs and silent EVs. Whether the 2026 Cutlass Supreme becomes a bestseller or a niche throwback, one thing's for certain: Oldsmobile has officially stepped back into the spotlight. But what do you think? Has Oldsmobile nailed the Cutlass Supreme's rebirth, or do you think they should have left the past alone? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this first look, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into classic nameplates making a comeback, and share this video with anyone who remembers the Cutlass in their driveway, or wishes they had. Because one thing's clear: History has a way of coming back, and sometimes it comes back better than ever. Back in the late 1960s, if you pulled up next to a Chevy Chevelle 396 at a stoplight, you knew you were in for a fight. It wasn't just another car. It was the car that defined an era of raw power, street dominance, and no-nonsense muscle. Fast forward nearly 60 years, and Chevy has done the unthinkable. The Chevelle 396 is back. The question is, can it still live up to the glory days, or is this just another nostalgic cash grab? Let's take a ride back into history and straight into the future. The Chevelle wasn't just a car, it was a cultural phenomenon. Launched in 1964, it quickly became one of Chevrolet's biggest success stories, serving everyone from families to hot rodders. But in 1965, Chevy dropped a bombshell, the Chevelle SS 396. With a big block V8 under the hood, bold styling, and a price tag that didn't require a second mortgage, the SS 396 ignited the muscle car wars. It went toe-to-toe with the Pontiac GTO, Ford Fairlane GT, and Plymouth Roadrunner. And more often than not, it came out on top. For years, the Chevelle 396 was the street king. But as fuel crises hit and emissions regulations choked performance, the Chevelle quietly disappeared, leaving fans clinging to memories and garage-kept classics. For decades, rumors of a revival floated around, but nothing ever materialized until now. Chevy has finally brought the Chevelle 396 back for 2026. This isn't just another retro name slapped on a crossover. This is a true muscle car, re-engineered for a new era. But will it be enough to re-establish Chevy's dominance in the muscle car market? Let's start with what you see first, the design. Chevy knew they had to honor the original, and they didn't hold back. The 2026 Chevelle 396 has that unmistakable long hood, wide stance, and fastback profile that screams muscle. The front grille echoes the classic twin headlamp setup of the late 60s models, but modernized with sharp LED strips. Strong character lines run down the sides, giving it a sense of motion even when parked. And those massive rear haunches? They're pure Chevelle, bold, muscular, and unapologetic. This isn't a car that blends into traffic. It commands attention, just like the original. Inside, Chevy played the nostalgia card smartly. Retro-inspired round gauges sit in front of the driver, but they're digital, customizable, and razor-sharp. A massive central touchscreen blends seamlessly into the dash, offering the latest Chevy infotainment suite, wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, and even built-in track performance monitoring. The seats are available in retro houndstooth patterns or modern leather bolstering, letting buyers choose between old-school charm and modern comfort. And yes, there's a manual transmission option alongside the automatic, giving purists exactly what they wanted. But we know what you're waiting for, what's under the hood. The heart of the Chevelle 396 is a reimagined big block V8, clocking in at 6.5 liters of pure displacement. In its standard form, it cranks out over 500 horsepower. But Chevy didn't stop there. The high-performance SSX package slaps on a supercharger, pushing output north of 700 horsepower, with torque so brutal it feels like the pavement itself might split in half. Rear-wheel drive, aggressive gearing, and launch control mean this thing rockets from 0-60 in as little as 3.4 seconds. For a car that starts under $50,000, that's insane performance. Chevy also added modern handling touches, adaptive magnetic ride control, Brembo brakes, and an advanced limited slip differential. It's not just a straight-line monster anymore. On winding roads, the Chevelle 396 feels planted, sharp, and surprisingly nimble for a car of its size. In track mode, it tightens up, stiffens the suspension, and sharpens throttle response. In cruise mode, it becomes calm, comfortable, and easy to live with. And for those who want a taste of the past, retro mode dials back the tech, loosens the traction control, and pipes that big block roar straight into your veins. So, how does it actually feel when you drive it? In one word, explosive. The Chevelle 396 doesn't just accelerate, it attacks. Drop the clutch, and you're slammed into the seat as the supercharged V8 roars like a lion breaking free. The tires struggle to hold on. Smoke curls off the rear wheels, and before you know it, you're flying down the strip with a grin plastered across your face. This isn't just performance, it's theater, the kind of drama that modern cars rarely deliver anymore. But here's where the shocker comes in. While it's every bit the muscle car on the track, the new Chevelle is shockingly livable on the street. Long highway cruises? Smooth, quiet, and refined. City driving? Manageable, thanks to modern driver assists. It's the dual personality that makes this car so impressive. It's as if Chevy bottled up the soul of 1969, then engineered it to survive 2026. And when Chevy dropped the price bombshell, $45,000 to start, $65,000 fully loaded, the muscle car world collectively raised an eyebrow. Affordable, powerful, iconic. Three things rarely seen together anymore, but somehow Chevy pulled it off. So what does the return of the Chevelle 396 really mean? It means Chevy hasn't forgotten what made American cars legendary. It's not just about efficiency or tech, it's about emotion, presence, and power that you can feel in your chest. The pros are crystal clear: jaw-dropping design, massive power, a perfect mix of retro and modern, and pricing that makes it attainable for real enthusiasts. The cons: thirsty V8s aren't exactly eco-friendly, and with regulations tightening, the Chevelle's long-term future may be uncertain. But honestly, nobody buys a Chevelle worrying about fuel economy. They buy it because it makes their heart race. For the old-school fans, this is the car you've been waiting decades for. For younger buyers, it's a chance to experience what your parents or grandparents always raved about, but in a package that works in today's world. And for Chevy, it's a shot across the bow of every competitor: Dodge, Ford, even the imports. The message is simple: American muscle isn't dead. In fact, it's louder than ever. So here's the big question: did Chevy just create the perfect bridge between past and future? Or is the Chevelle 396 simply a last hurrah for gasoline muscle before the EV wave takes over? Let me know what you think in the comments. Would you buy one? Or do you think Chevy should have gone electric? Smash that like button if you enjoyed this deep dive. Subscribe for more first looks at iconic cars reborn. And share this with a friend who needs to hear that muscle isn't going anywhere. Because one thing's for sure: the Chevelle 396 is back, and it's ready to reclaim its throne.